Summer racing just feels right up north with cooler temps and some rain showers, but that doesn't mean the action in the Pocono Mountains is any kind of cool. One of NASCAR's oldest traditions, the Pocono Raceway weighs in at 2.5 miles and is prime for some MPI Cup Series action with Miranda, Stempien, and all the rest vying for a tricky triangle win. Hi, welcome to PitStop TV in the virtual Long Pond, Pennsylvania. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murtis alongside this evening. Stempien added to his win total last week in New Hampshire. Zach now making 4 wins, tied with Mario Miranda and Lawson Peel. But it'll be significantly harder for Miranda, or Peel to notch that 5th win and pull ahead of the rest. And there are plenty of other drivers willing to roll the dice to make the playoffs with a win tonight at Pocono.
Yeah, and you're certainly coming to a track with a lot of history behind it, a lot of tricky spots to be able to try and do some passing. Pocono has 3 different corners modeled after 3 different racetracks, and being a Pennsylvania native myself, I'm interested to see how these MPI Cup Series drivers are going to try to navigate it with these next-gen cars. You might see some downshifting, you might see people just trying to roll it through 5th gear through a lot of these corners, but it's going to be an interesting race to see how a lot of these drivers might try to lock themselves in the playoffs tonight.
And Zach, I'm so glad that you've already begun our bit of controversy for the evening. You've already called it a 3-corner racetrack, and believe me, I will tell you why. This is a 5-corner racetrack. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's track map. Now, yes, labeled here on the track map, it is a 3-corner racetrack. This is the traditional 1, 2, 3 that you usually see. However, I present a different ideology. We're going to call this 1 still. It's still turn 1, but it's turn 1 and 2, as you can see there, from Trenton. Now, what is turn 2? The tunnel turn here at Pocono. Well, it's actually modeled after Indianapolis turns 1 and 3, so we're going to cross out that 2 and now make that a 3. Now, when you get down all the way here to the north end of the speedway, what is known as turn 3, and then the turn 4 kind of deal, right? We're going to cross out that 3. That's modeled after turns 3 and 4 at the Milwaukee Mile. So that's going to be, well, actually, hang on, I just messed that one up. So we're going to have to redo this. See, editing on the fly. So we have turns 1 and 2 from Trenton. Then we have turn 3 from Indianapolis. And we have turns 4 and 5, if I can get that 4 and 5 coming to us from Milwaukee. So, in my opinion, and in many others' opinions, this is a 5-corner racetrack, and by all means, let us know out in the chat exactly how many corners you feel there are here at Pocono. I'm going to stand by it. We're going to call it a 3-corner racetrack this evening, and it's a triangle, sure, but I rest my case. This is a 5-corner racetrack, Zach, even though it says 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful looking 5 that you decided to put on the track map.
It gets the job done. But, hey, and you know what? Perfect way to debut that we can draw on the screen now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get the track map out of here. We know Pocono. We love Pocono. Let's talk about the standings for this series. Checking in tonight at 828 points. Mario Miranda with 4 wins still just ahead of Steven Stempien. I say just ahead, 21 points ahead. That's still a decent margin with Lawson Peel there on the 3rd spot. But then you get to some big deficits. Joe Sanchez, Alex Muscarello, Wyatt Brackett, Daniel Michel, Warren Kyle Keith, they all total up some pretty big tallies behind the point leader, Mario Miranda, and all the way down through Ray Rogers, you can see 401 points back. But this is the picture that we want to start kind of moving away from, and this is the picture, there we go, that we actually want to focus on this evening. And the rest of the way through this regular season, you can see just who's in and who is currently out. 7 drivers locked in currently. They're in the top 30, and they have a race win or more to their name. And then, well, 9 drivers that are currently in by points, and 4 here in the top 20 that are trying to get their way in. And you can see Parker Bland now above that cut line after last week at New Hampshire. Chris Shoemaker only a little ways ahead of him. So some points are going to start swinging some different ways.
Absolutely, and even with drivers having just a bit more of a margin, drivers like Garrett Brown or, pretty much Garrett Brown, if you're looking at the point standings, he's got a bigger deficit to the cut line, but with just a few races still left in the regular season, there's still always a chance that some driver could end up winning, or he could end up having a bad race, and it would just make that playoff gap just a little bit smaller.
Everybody in yellow or red is looking for their first win on the season, and it would be so meaningful to their season to grab that first win here this evening at Pocono. It would be huge, especially ahead of the next races we have coming up this season. We can take a look at the Auto Tempest team standings briefly, but not much has changed. Drinker Bros Racing leading the way, and if we take a look at the schedule, you can see up next, it's the Indianapolis Oval next week. For race 21, then Michigan International Speedway, then Richmond Raceway, and Watkins Glen International before we hand things off to Podium Esports. So, an interesting summer coming up for us. As you can see, cars are on track for qualifying. Let's get down trackside and check out the fastest of the bunch so far. Well, it was this guy, Lawson Peel, but now it's last week's winner, Steven Stepien, rocketing around here at nearly 200 miles an hour into turn 1.
Doesn't that Kevin Harvick scheme look so good on that next-gen car?
It does look pretty good, and you know, it's a little bit dark here this afternoon. We can check out the weather conditions. It's going to be a little bit dark for this paint. It's going to feel like it would glint in the sun a lot, but air temp 68 degrees, overcast conditions. That gives us a track temp of 74 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour. Lawson Peel goes back to the top of the board in car 53. He will peel off down to the inside and come to a stop. Joe Sanchez on track, goes across the line and completes his qualifying run and goes second. Steven Stepien, though, out of turn number 5, turn 3, whatever you want to call it. Actually, I think that might have been turn 2. No, there we go. Yeah. To the start-finish line, we'll see if he goes any faster. He does go faster, but is it enough for the pole? No. Third. Although there is somebody spoiling the show, and that somebody went very fast in practice, Zach. Ross Harlow's been quick today.
Absolutely, and you just see him coming down Long Pond straightaway. Watch him going through the tunnel turn. I'm seeing a lot of drivers trying to do this and do it good as well. Gets right down there, not getting on the yellow line because you don't necessarily want to hug the tunnel turn too much. You'll scrub off too much speed. But coming down into turn 3, they're getting right on that yellow line. Some of them are even putting their left side tires on the rumble strip. And he is, this is probably going to be close coming back to the line.
Let's go on board with car 5 as he comes down to the start-finish line, tries to put a time down and go to the pole. Potentially he's second. He will go faster, and that is enough to put Ross Harlow on pole here at Pocono by 6/100ths of a second. A monster lap breaking into the 53 threes. Beautiful stuff there from car 5. That is a good-looking Chevrolet as well as it sits currently on pole. Richard Swavely now to the 3rd position in qualifying. We're seeing a lot of surprise qualifiers up towards the top of the board. Justin Hendry in the top 10 in the Podium Esports Toyota Camry. Here he comes down to turn number 2, it looks like. And we'll see what he can do on this lap. Heading through the tunnel turn, so many bumps here that upset the car. Jesse Whittington goes 9th on the board. Now Hendry put into the 10th spot. And he'll round to turn number 3. And see what he can do on this lap. This is his second. Actually, no. You know what? I just noticed this is actually his 3rd lap. So this lap will not count. But somebody whose will is Justin Winters into turn number 1. And Warren Kyle Keith goes to pole.
My lord. One thing I am noticing about a lot of these drivers that are coming up and running fast times into the top 10, they are downshifting into 4th gear in some of these corners, most notably into turn 3. It's just so flat. You got to get the RPMs up. You got to keep these cars rolling fast. And it's honestly a smart move. They're just letting the revs max out, going straight across the line, trying to maximize the ability to get that pole time.
We should see shifting most of the day. It might not be entirely viable the entire run, but I'd imagine with the cooler temps here today, we should see these guys using the most of these motors. Austin Shoemaker goes 15th quick. On board here with Logan Sturgeon in position 33 so far. He is 8/10ths off of pole time, but sometimes, Zach, on these speedways, you run a different line that first lap, get the motor spooled up. I don't know that that's going to be such a big deal here at Pocono where you have to lift for all 3 corners, but it's certainly an opportunity. And what you were talking about with the gear selection, you can see here on the dash. You can actually see the gear selection right above that line that I just put on the screen. You can see he's in 4th gear now, exiting turn number 3. He'll shift up to 5th at some point. Where does he pull it? There he pulls it. He pulled it pretty late across the line. Stayed in 4th to get the pull across, and he will go 14th.
It's quite interesting to see how these drivers are going to run. For those who don't know, with the next-gen car, 5 gears now instead of 4, like the previous gen, it's going to be more of a short run experiment, if you ask me. 4th gear is going to be well when you're kind of riding behind someone, you're trying to get up to speed, but 5th gear is going to be your overdrive gear. It's going to be the one that's going to help you save fuel, and we know that Pocono has been known for a lot of fuel mileage races. And it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen when it comes down to, do you want to stay in 4th gear to ride it out throughout some of these corners, or do you want to stay in 5th gear because you're going to be in the draft, you're going to be in a tight pack trying to stay behind these drivers, save fuel, and keep the car from, sliding out from underneath you.
Austin Reedy with a couple of wins this season at Daytona and Auto Club goes 31st quick so far. Here's Mario Miranda to wrap up his first time lap in the Burnt Rubber Media number 99 Toyota Camry. It's a 53.9. which is not inherently bad, but it is 33rd fast. So these first laps are not sticking for these guys. We'll have to see what they can do on lap number 2. Garrett Brown on track, wrapping up his second lap. And here he is in the Texaco Haviland number 16. For Prestige Worldwide Racing pops up out of turn number 1. We'll head down the Long Pond straightaway. Checks in at a 53.778, and oh, somebody just went quick. That was Austin Reedy across the line, now into position number 8 at a 53.543. So move Austin up into the top 10. We've still got to see what Garrett Brown can do in the 16, and even Mario Miranda, and I think even Joseph Mahar could be heavy hitters, although time is running out. Just under 2 minutes to go now, as Garrett Brown comes out of turn number 3, down to the start-finish line. Does he go any faster? It's a 53.787. So it's slower by less than a tenth, but Miranda will go higher. He'll go to 13th on the board. I don't think he's happy with that.
It didn't seem like he was very happy with that.
Joseph Mahar, the Dollar General number 19 Toyota Camry. For Podium Esports, rounding turn 3, this is his warm-up lap. This is his out lap out of the pit lane. So this first lap is going to be the one that counts, it looks like, and it's going to be slow. He's not going to get to him. He'll be lucky to break the top 30 in this qualifying run.
A little bit higher through turn 1. A lot of drivers are probably going to try to take that line going through turn 1 instead of hugging the yellow line coming right up off. You want to run more center through turn 1. Allows you to have better drive off, better run down Long Pond straightaway.
Joseph Mahar back to power now. Pops down into 4th gear. I think he's going to stay in 4th on this north straightaway, headed down to turn number 3. Does he upshift? Audibly, no. He stays in that 4th gear, trying to get everything out of the motor. Into turn number 3. We'll see what he can do down to the start-finish line this time. This will be the only lap that stands for Joseph Mahar in car 19, the final qualifier to take to the track. And it's a 53.8. 53.815. That is, well, it's top 30, so he broke into the top 30. I'll give it to him.
It didn't necessarily look like he was going to be able to set too much of a faster time. He's still trying to go on for his second lap, but it doesn't look like he's going to have enough time. He just really didn't hug the yellow line. Coming through 3, he's just took a bit of a wider arc, and well, he's not going to have enough time to bring it back around to the start-finish line before qualifying wraps up here.
So we will let qualifying time out here. 39 cars taking a time. A 40th and a 41st car will line up at the back of the grid. Those are Ray Rogers and Alex Muscarella. Now, let's go ahead and meet our starting grid at the Tricky Triangle. Starting on pole, Warren Kyle Keith. That's refreshing to say for car 22. Good to see him with a good qualifying run today. As you can see, the entire field lines up on pit road. Ross Harlow will start to his right side in car number 5. Also a really refreshing qualifying effort for Ross. Starting from the 3rd position, it's Lawson Peel with 4 wins on the season. Richard Swavely starting very high in the field. 4th position tonight after a really rough time at New Hampshire last week. And last week's winner, Steven Stepien, rolls off 5th in the grid. Ryan Kendall starts from the 6th position. Joe Sanchez starts 7th rather, with Austin Reedy 8th. Kevin Hurley and Justin Winters wrap up the top 10.
Going through the rest of the grid, Dakota Curtis, league owner, starting 11th, along with Jesse Whittington to his outside in 12th position in that 94. Rolling on down, we got Mario Miranda with a bit of a 13th place qualifying position, and Justin Hendry is starting to his outside in 14th in that number 11. Then we've got Chris Progar in the 17, starting 15th, and to his outside, Logan Sturgeon in the 26. Keeping on rolling down, we got Brandon Banks in the 54, starting 17th, and to his outside, Austin Shoemaker in the 14. Continuing, we got Wyatt Brackett in the 10, starting 19th, and Daniel Michel in the 25, rounding out your top 20.
Starting 21st, it's car number 7, Isaac Mock in a Toyota Camry, and alongside will be the number 43 Ford Mustang of Sean Kalist. Starting 23rd, it's the number 29 of Curtis Kelly, with Bill Schoonover gritting up into the 24th spot, and Dustin Reeves will start from 25th position this evening. Garrett Brown from 26th. Starting 27th on the inside of row 14, it's Judd Danielson with Kip Easley alongside, and to round out your top 30 at Pocono Raceway, it's Travis Stevens and Joseph Mahar.
31st is going to be Justin Erb, and to his outside in the 32nd position is Brad Fulham. Continuing on down the field, we've got James Kunkel in the 3 starting 33rd, and Casey Knighton to his outside in 34th. Zach Wilson in the 51 starting 35th, and to his outside is Chris Shoemaker in the 4. And then we've got Daniel Holdcroft and Parker Bland making up 37th and 38th on our starting grid tonight. Charles Feltz in the 75 and 39th, and Ray Rogers in 40th position. And then Alex Muscarella is your last qualifier of the night, rounding out your MPI Cup Series field for Pocono.
Already headed out of turn number 2. The field is headed down to the 3rd corner very quick. So let's go ahead and get ready then for 80 green flag laps from the tricky triangle. The weather has shifted a little bit. It's gotten a little bit cooler on track, not by much. It's down to 73 degrees track temp, so just a little bit on the cooler side. And it looks like with pace car lights on, yes, the formation laps have been extended just to allow the field a little bit extra time to grid up, which I can't say I blame officials for. That's actually going to be very, very useful for these guys on the start of this race, because you can go back to the back of the field here, Zach, and they are just now getting gridded up and ready to go. Charles Feltz, Ray Rogers joining the back end of the field. It looks like Alex Piscarella has not yet made it to the speedway. Not sure if he will join us this evening or not, but as these guys head down to turn number 1, let's again revisit our point standings. Coming into this evening, Mario Miranda, Steven Stempe, and Lawson Peel, everybody with the green in next to their name, they are in the playoffs. And Zach, that means these guys in the yellow, they've got to get going, and the guys in the red, it's beyond time to get going. They've got to get themselves a win.
Well, for guys like Muscarella, Michelle, and Kelly, you're not too worried. You've got quite a bit of a points gap. For the guys more closer to the cut line, I'd be a little more worried. We're getting more and more closer to the playoffs, and the more guys that get wins, put themselves in, the less of a chance you have of even making it in on points. We're seeing it now in NASCAR. They've got 2 spots left in the playoff. We've still got a ton of space left in these playoffs. Still a few races left to go, and it's definitely coming down to the wire, if you ask me. These points right there on the line.
So as we get ready to go green flag racing this evening from Pocono, let's remind you this is a 5-corner track, and we'll call it 3 corners. The lap record so far here with the Gen 7 on iRacing set by Michael Conti in a Chevrolet Camaro. It's a 52.983. Of course, that is in open setup racing, so a little bit different from what we'll see this evening, and a little bit faster, I'm sure. Certainly faster than our qualifying efforts. So our pole sitter, Warren Keith, will take us on down to turn number 3 this evening. I'll admit it's still a 3-corner track as far as that goes. It's painted 1, 2, 3. I'll give it to him. But Warren Keith will bring us down to the Geico restart zone for the first time this evening and get this race started. Out of turn number 3, car 22 on pole. The Pocono 80 lapper begins now. The MPI Cup Series is green from Pocono. Down the Long Pond straightaway, side by side are Harlow and Keith. They'll go down to the tunnel turn here in just a moment. Zach side by side, but Harlow pulls away on the outside for the race lead.
I'm really excited to see how they're going to go through turn 3. They're all still kind of neck and neck with each other. We've got the top 2 cars rolling on the outside line. It seems like the outside's been benefiting a lot. If you ask me, I did one official race and I saw the outside was really, really fast, and well, they're just rocketing coming off turn 3, and I'm going to call it turn 3 all night, not 5.
Lap 1 complete. It's Ross Harlow across the line. Lawson Peel, Steven Stempian, Joe Sanchez, and Richard Swavely now into the top 5 as they head down to turn number 1. Side by side for that 5th spot, though. Cars 22 and 32 as the line of 4 cars now out front. This is going to feel like a speedway race, I feel like. We're going to see a little more pack racing than usual. This is only an 80-lap race, even shorter than the NASCAR Xfinity Series race here on Saturday. And you know what, Zach? That means we've got stages of lap 20 and lap 40. So we're not going very far in these opening runs, only to the 20th lap, and that means these guys can really push.
Yep, not worried about fuel mileage, not worried about tires, just open up that throttle and hang her wide, bud. Just do whatever you can to push, 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 push. Stages are falling, I want to say, about middle of the fuel run for these cars, so really there's not going to be too much wear and tear, but as we see now, they're getting very single-filed out, trying to fall in that draft to save fuel, as Ross Harlow sets a fast one sitting out in front of the field.
The first side-by-side coming back here with Dakota Curtis, and now Mario Miranda, cars 1 and 99 side-by-side through the first corner. Miranda on the outside, Curtis on the inside, Justin Hendry sitting behind him. And they'll work down the Long Pond straightaway to the tunnel turn, and Curtis gives a spot up as there's a lead change. Lawson Peel powers ahead, and you can see that's moved the 5 car up the racetrack. Ross Harlow losing the lead spot now. Here comes Stempian down low.
Harlow is able to fall back in line, and Stempian's going to fall in right behind him. It's real easy to lose good spots here at Pocono. If you just fall out of line even just a little bit and someone does not go with you, you're not going to be able to keep that spot back. So kudos to Stempian and Harlow for being able to fall in line right behind
Here
Peel.
comes the train. Harlow with a push from
snaking.
Stempian. Peel having to defend a little bit to the bottom side and not allow a door to open up as Miranda goes purple. Oh, and into the corner. Harlow goes deep and gives Peel a shot in the shorts just a little bit and gets the car 53 moved around. But hey, no position change between those guys. Really, they stay in line for the most part, aside from now Stempian looking around. But now they get back in line. They're playing nicely, Zach, but they're definitely pushing.
Well, I don't think Harlow expected Peel to be letting off the gas too soon going into 1. You've got that draft. You're faster than the lead car. You can try to outbrake or even try to just hang back a little bit. Some may even, as the Irish, they use the Larson line and go around the outside. It's very easy to hang around the outside. So Harlow could have taken it around the outside, but he decided to back off a little bit. He's just biding his time and being patient in the first stage.
Very much in line pack racing, the entire field of 40 in one line as they head down the front straightaway here, the second longest straightaway in NASCAR. And there goes Ross Harlow back to the inside of Lawson Peel for the race lead.
So what was that I was saying about patience again?
That's out the window. Stage 1, only 20 laps, as we said. These guys are pushing early. They need these stage points, especially in the case of Ross Harlow, somebody that's not really in the fight right now for the playoffs, needs to get some points, needs to claw his way back in, and if not, go for a win.
Absolutely. You see a lot of these guys, even though they're single file, they are hugging that yellow line, and they are getting their left side tires onto the apron in the tunnel turn. Now, I'm not sure if that's helping the car rotate, as we've got a pass right here for 4th. Sanchez underneath, oh no, that's Swavely underneath Sanchez, excuse me, and he is hugging that yellow line, but he's out of line, nobody's going with him, so he might end up dropping back here on the front stretch.
Yeah, Swavely losing a spot. Here goes the 42 of Hurley. Here goes another car on the outside. That'll be Warren Kyle Keith. No, Warren lets him get in line before turn 1 as one car goes way up the road. That is Ross Harlow up on that outside line, but gets an arc, gets back down to the bottom, and arcs back onto the Long Pond straightaway with a good run, gets clear of the race lead for a moment. No, Peel stays to the inside and will challenge back down to the tunnel turn. So these guys can race, but you can see they all want to get in this line and ride right now until, well, they decide 2 quarters later they want to race.
Stempian is just trying to figure out who he wants to go with. He's now sitting on the bottom, pushing Peel.
A lot of Chevrolets controlling the front of this field, 4 to be exact, 1 Toyota in the top 5, no Fords yet. First Ford is 7th place with Warren Kyle Keith behind the wheel. Mario Miranda moving his way up, as is Austin Reedy, now both into the top 10, and it's only lap 6 now to lap 7. And the leaders will stay a bit more orderly this time down to the first corner. This is a lot different from most Pocono racing of years past. We don't usually see these guys this close 7 laps into a run, Zach. This is different. This is new. This feels like IndyCar racing almost.
It's honestly interesting to see, especially since these cars are kind of modeled after sports cars. a little bit more this year than they are in previous years. As you see, Ross Harlow, it's interesting to see how these cars are trying to do. It's like you said, it's like IndyCar. Sometimes you want to find a different line, get out of the dirty air, try to find a better way around someone, as Stepien is going underneath Harlow for second. He's looking, he's going to clear Harlow coming off the corner, get that second spot secured, and he is going after Peel, pushing him down the front straightaway.
Move the New Hampshire driver up one position as it's Stepien now moving into that second spot. Harlow falls back. Sanchez still in line, and Ross is charging turn one a lot more than these guys. You saw him close up at the back end of Stepien just that little bit into the corner, and that's going to get dangerous, I feel like, over the course of the afternoon. Hopefully he can tone that back a little bit. Ryan Kendall now side by side with Mario Miranda. It looks like Miranda onto the top side. That's going to bring Austin Reedy, and Kendall, teammates with Reedy, will have to slide in behind him. As here comes Justin Winters on the outside. This the battle for 10th, and as well, Zach, this will be the battle for stage points. Justin Winters wants a point. Ryan Kendall wants to keep that point.
These points are so valuable the closer we get to the playoffs. And they are still side by side going through turn 3.
And if you had a keen eye there into the third corner, you could see Austin Reedy pull down and try to help his teammate, but it wasn't enough. Justin Winters goes by on the outside, and Dakota Curtis and Jesse Whittington side by side for the 12th position just behind these guys. Jesse Whittington with a new sponsor on board this week, Team Watson Racing, as he'll go down to the bottom side of turn 1, challenge the one car, but no pass just yet.
It's going to be difficult to pass on the inside in turn 1 and in turn 3. Actually, it's going to be difficult to pass on the inside in general throughout this entire race. Everyone's single file, like we've been talking about. We're almost halfway through the stage. Tires are wearing in. The outside is going to be the preferred line, especially when it comes to passing, since the whole train needs to stay pretty much up there. And if everyone's going to stay with each other, you're not going to be able to have any momentum on the bottom.
This is getting spicy. Cars 22 and 99, Warren Kyle Keith and Mario Miranda. They were moving around a little bit, jockeying for position into the third corner. Miranda on the attack, Warren Kyle Keith after starting on pole on defense. And I think we've already forgotten the fact that Warren started on pole. He was the fastest qualifier for this race and has fallen back to the 7th position and in dire need of a little bit of help. As here we go, side by side for second. Stepien having to defend from Harlow. I know we say you can't pass on the bottom side, but Harlow wants to change that theory. He looked that time, he had a run, and has to give it back.
Sanchez was just sitting right behind Stepien, and Harlow wasn't able to continue that run. He had no help. It's the draft here on these speedways. You've got to stay with the line. You've got to stay with someone. If you don't have the help, you're not going to be able to make that pass on the inside work. As we're coming back around, we're going to be halfway through the stage. We're going to be halfway complete through stage 1. And Peel is still leading out in front with Stepien and Harlow still trying to figure out exactly if they want to move around or if they just want to stay put.
10 laps complete, most of the field in a single file line here in stage number 1 at the Pocono Raceway. You can see the entire field come on by the start-finish line and get the 10th lap complete. Deep in the field, there's a bunch of guys back here that really need some points, and I'm surprised they're this far back, to be entirely honest. Parker Bland, one of them. Ray Rogers, another. Chris Shoemaker, Judd Danielson, Travis Stevens. All of these guys really need some valuable stage points. To not get stage points today is going to be a huge letdown, a huge L, if you will. They have got to get going forward. I see Garrett Brown back here as well. I mean, this is just... When you put this against trying to make the playoffs, Zach, this is unacceptable realistically for their days. Whoa, Shoemaker washed up big time in the tunnel turn. They have got to find something. They've got to get going. Even guys here like Mahar and Justin Urbans, there's a caution flag out on the speedway. Unsure where it comes from. And it might have actually been that battle we were watching. They had some issues a moment ago. And Charles Phelps is a little ways back here. Ray Rogers has now parked the car, so I dare say it comes with car 18. We'll go back and get a replay here at the Pocono Raceway and see what happens to Ray Rogers. It's out of the second corner, it looks like, Zach, so watch the black and green Toby Christie 18. On the inside there of Holdcroft, following Shoemaker. Shoemaker was the one that was scaring me a little bit in this group, to be honest. He bobbled a lot. He was pushing the heck out of Stevens to the second corner and just pushes way up into Holdcroft. It looks like maybe on exit. No, it didn't hit him there. And watch for Ray Rogers. Oh, Stevens comes down and gets him. Just hooks him. Wow.
just a little wary on the track awareness. It didn't seem like he knew he was there, or he just did know and was trying to pull down for a side draft. Just wasn't expecting to close that gap so quickly.
Yeah, Travis Stevens absolutely just turned into him. There's not too many other ways to put that one. We'll, of course, get more looks at this. Our first crash of the evening. Watch car 2, the black, red, and white. He just comes down the racetrack right into Ray Rogers, and they all scatter. Holdcroft goes for a spin. Stevens gets a good piece of it. But Rogers and I believe even Shoemaker getting a big piece of that. And, I mean, that's really going to do a number. And Ray Rogers, somebody in the top 20, trying to get points today. That's really going to hurt him.
Well, speaking of points, we're coming up on we're just after halfway. We're on lap 12, lap 13 actually, moving on. How do we look at going forward? Do you pit here? Do you stay out for track position if you're that desperate? Or do you try to make that last charge to the end of the stage?
One more look here. Stevens just goes down the racetrack. I'm not sure. I doubt he thought he was clear. Probably just thought he had more room. And, well, unfortunately,
the side draft.
Done. We'll get back to live picture here under caution for the first time from Pocono. Lawson Peel, the race leader. We don't expect many pits, but one of the pits that we got was Ross Harlow in car 5. Kevin Hurley joining him along with Warren Kyle Keith, Justin Winters, Chris Progar. A lot of these guys, I think, not even taking tires, Zach, and the pit box time is evidence of that. You can see Ross Harlow there, 7.27 seconds. If anything, they're taking 2 tires and a bit of fuel. More than likely, no tires and some fuel for Ross Harlow and the bunch here pitting under this first yellow. 26 cars, all the way down through Charles Phelps, though, stay out on this first break of action. And let's see, where is our pace car? Well, we'll double up this next time by the start-finish line. The pace car lights are still on, so we have at least one more lap of caution. In this time, we're going to go to a quick commercial break and be right back with the rest of stage number 1 from round, 21 now in the MPI Cup Series. More racing coming up in a few.
is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
This hand.
Yeah. This grip
Yeah.
has 27% more grip.
We'll come back to that in just a little bit, but green flag now on the way from Pocono one more time. Lap 14 of 80 now, lap 15 of 80 as we come down to the Geico restart zone for the first time. It is a true restart, and green flag is back out from Pocono. We'll go down to turn one. into turn 2. Most of the field single file already. 6 laps to go in stage 1, Zach. And business is booming around that stage point cutoff line. Justin Hendry currently the final car in, and he is swerving and moving up and down the racetrack, trying to defend from Michel. Michel takes it into turn 3.
We're going to have 5 laps to go on the stage.
Oh, contact.
Oh, that was
Hendry
very, very
wall.
close. A little bit of a wiggle after the wall, but he's going to keep it straight. Still side by side going down the front straightaway.
This is how close they are down to the first corner this time. 5 laps to go in the stage, and it's Hendry on the outside, Michel on the inside. This is for the 10th spot on the racetrack. The final stage point in stage number 1. Up for grabs between these two, and even the drivers behind him. Michel at the racetrack slides a little bit, but he hangs on to the spot as now Hendry has to regroup and defend from Jesse Whittington.
Michel is just looking in his mirror saying, fight, fight, fight. I need these points. I want these points. Dakota driving away a little bit, so that fight for about 9th, 10th isn't really much of a factor. We're more focused on 11th and 12th as they are side by side once again going through turn 3.
Whittington takes the 11th spot. Now he gets to run after Michel a little bit. It'll be 4 laps to go in stage 1 this time. Actually, I gotta correct myself. It'll be 3 to go this time because the way we do stages in the MPI Cup Series. Here comes Stempian down to the inside. 3 laps to go in this stage. Stempian defending from Swavely as car 32 takes a look now, slides up in turn 1. And Swavely gonna have to try again.
Miranda is going to go with him, sitting right there behind him, drafting. Oh, we got about 5 cars on the bottom. Miranda and Swavely coming back up right behind Stempian. Can we talk about Miranda for a second being in 5th place after starting, what, 13th? He's made his way up through the field.
Reedy as well. Those two have been in lockstep formation with each other, moving up through this field in the early goings. They don't need the stage points, Zach, but they surely want them, and if they can get the stage win, even better, especially when the guy leading is Lawson Peel, really Miranda's main competition in the standings aside from Steven. Well, actually, even Steven Stempian is third. So Miranda is the last driver out of the top 3 in points. He's got to get up here and challenge. And hey, look, Joe Sanchez up in that top 5 in points as well. So we see a lot of the heavy hitters in his top 5. We're not seeing much gambling right now from guys that really need to be gambling. They're not emphasizing this playoff push, I don't think.
It's definitely interesting to see how they played their strategy, too. They didn't really take too much tires. They just tried to stay out, keep that track position, maximize those points efforts. And I think we're coming to the white flag next time by.
Next time by the start-finish line will be the white flag in stage number 1, while these guys duke it out for the 2nd spot. It's Stempian on the inside and Sanchez on the outside. By all means, check out our social media here at PitStop TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, the whole lot of them. And give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription, whatever it may be. But white flag is out in stage number 1. And here we go, 3 wide, Swavely down to the inside in car 32. There goes the 99, back to the top side, that's Miranda.
Stempian is just defending. He kept his car side by side with Sanchez all the way down the front straightaway. No help. And they are still side by side behind him. We are 2 wide, about maybe, 3 rows deep? Nope, back to 2.
Let's go on board with Swavely once again. He is lifting. He wants out of this mess as Miranda will go to the inside of Stempian, trying to push that car into the corner. He gets down to the inside of car 81. Mario Miranda is a man on a mission and is holding no prisoners at Pocono. This is only for stage 1, and he's racing like it's for the win, battling here tooth and nail with car 81 up the racetrack. It's not going to be enough for stage 1 as Lawson Peel will exit the 3rd corner and take the stage 1 victory. Miranda blocks Reedy a little bit. Oh, it is hot and heavy already at Pocono.
That was one heck of an interesting race for that stage.
Daniel Michel takes the final stage point. Dakota Curtis will go 9th and take 2. Kendall will take 3 points after finishing in the 8th spot. Richard Swavely drops down to the 7th position in the stage, will take 4 points. Shoemaker 5. Miranda will take 4, and Reedy got him at the line. How about that? So Reedy takes those stage points away from Miranda. Those aggressive moves, they might work, but they also might come back to bite you. As Lawson Peel will take the stage number 1 victory over Joe Sanchez, Steven Stempian, Austin Reedy, Mario Miranda, and more. The first car not getting stage points, that was Jesse Whittington in car 94, but the Team Watson Racing setups number 94 was definitely looking good. And I feel like this will be a good conversation with Lawson Peel. Let's go ahead and try and dial him up already. He's got to be feeling pretty good, I'd say, in car 53. Obviously, just won the first stage of the night. Has felt like these summer races were going to be his bread and butter, and is definitely off to a good start as we'll try and grab Lawson Peel in car 53. We will have him for comments. And Lawson, I know you're probably figuring out some strategy, some tires, some fuel and whatnot, but that was a pretty cut and dry stage win for you. 20 laps led just about, and a nice easy win.
Yeah, I did a lot of officials this week. It's definitely a little cooler, cloudier than what I've been used to, but yeah, just trying to navigate all three of these turns better than everybody else, and clean air is key. It's so aero sensitive, so tight behind another car. So you can have a really fast car and just be stuck back there. So yeah, just trying to maintain track position here, and hopefully we don't get burned on some opposite strategy. I'm a little worried about that if we have some cautions going forward, but yeah, just keep doing what we're doing right now. It's going pretty good so far.
Now, Lawson, we didn't talk to you much, if at all, last week in New Hampshire, but after New Hampshire, there is now another driver tied with you and Mario for 4 wins in the series. Does that bother you at all? Do you want to be the driver with the most wins, or is it just a matter of getting to the playoffs first and then figuring out the championship from there?
Yeah, like you said, it really doesn't matter too much. Certainly would like to be the first one to 5, but yeah, Steven and I are teammates, and we love to see each other win. So it was great to see him get the win at his home track last week. And yeah, we're in a little bit of a battle with Mario, but I think we got a good shot at being first one to 5 tonight. Just got to have things go our way.
Well, congrats on the stage 1 win. We'll let you get down there and pit with your crew, and best of luck to you today.
Thank you.
Lawson Peel comes in and pits right there in front of us, and it's good to talk to these guys sooner rather than later after their stage victory or even race victory as the number 53 comes in for service. A few cars will stay out, of course, after they pitted earlier on. Brad Fulham straight through the pit lane, missed his pit box, it looks like, and will have to come back in potentially for service. Lawson Peel, the first of the cars that pitted back onto the racetrack. Joe Sanchez just behind, then Austin Reedy, Richard Swavely, and more. Mario Miranda, a bit of a slow stop, comes out well behind these guys, and Ross Arla will assume the race lead. Zach, what do you say we dial up driver of the 5 after all of this with all the kinds of strategy going on, and of course him pitting earlier on in this stage? We've got to find Ross Arla first, though. I just had my eye on him, and I lost him.
Well, you better find him so we can bring him in here.
I got him. And Ross Harlow in car 5. Ross, it was an interesting first stage for you. You pitted early, got a few laps led. After starting second today, obviously starting second has to be a good feeling, but now you're playing the strategy game.
Yeah, with the way the tires are playing out and the way the fuel consumption is right now, we all as a team kind of decided that we'd play some games. There's still quite a few of us that are win to get in, myself included. So we got to do some crazy stuff to try and get a win. I know I've got good speed here. It was a good time to do it too, because I was kind of in a DBR sandwich there, and they were gonna gang up on me pretty hard. So yeah, it was just a good time to do it. It's nice to be back out front. We just got to take care of these things to the next stage.
You've got slightly friendlier faces around you now. Kevin Hurley, Warren Kyle Keith, Justin Erb. Does that help you at all in this second stage, at least beginning things off? And I'm sure you guys are racing to the end here if you don't get a yellow.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world having, nothing but friendly faces around you. It completely changes how you're going to drive the car. There's going to be a lot more defense, obviously, when we started that out, especially when Warren started dropping back and it was just me and DBR up there. So, we're all talking, we're all communicating. There's going to be a lot of respect with each other. So it's going to be a whole lot more fun, at least to start out before the fresh tires all get to us. We're just hoping that the strategy call works out for us.
Now, of course, there's a lot you guys have to manage here, and we saw some handling issues earlier today in the NASCAR race. Are you having any of those with the cooler temps today, and how much does gear selection matter?
Really no handling issues, so long as you don't get too silly with the race car, it usually stays pretty planted. Wish it was a little more free, honestly. But, you can use some stuff around the track to kind of get it to rotate a little bit, so it's not too bad. Gear selection is definitely important. Not as important as it was today, though. You know, you can grab fifth in the short chute, you'd be okay for the most part. Feels better, you know, just holding it fourth there. But yeah, gear selection, it's definitely important. It's always important in these next gens, but it's not nearly as important as you'd expect it to be.
Well, hey, best of luck to you. You've got some friends around you for this restart, and go get them here on stage 2.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
That is Ross Harlow. Good to talk to him. We don't get to talk to those guys very often from SKM, Sega Keith Motorsports, but good to check in with driver 5. Kevin Hurley will restart to his inside. Justin Erb behind him. Warren Keith behind him to the left as we come down the Geico restart zone one more time and hand things over to car 5 coming down to the restart zone. Green flag will fly once more from Pocono. We're back green flag racing in the MPI Cup Series. Stage 2 underway down the Long Pond straightaway. Drivers moving all around, Zach. This almost looks like the summer shootout headed down the backstretch. Everybody moving all around the racetrack, trying to find their way in groups here. Parker Bland into the 4th spot.
Just brought back painful memories. Choosing the outside and trying to figure out how I'm going to get to the bottom.
Well, I joked with Steve Post this past week that those restarts last week at Charlotte were preview of what we'd have at Pocono today, and we saw some wild Pocono restarts. We're seeing some more here today. Lap 1 will go complete, though, in stage 1. Zach, these guys really are fanning out across the entire racetrack, or at least as much as they can.
Yeah, I'm a little biased to that car sitting in second. Just, you know, no driver bias or anything, you know. Just
Parker Bland way up the track here. Up in the marbles in turn 1. Nearly put back. Oh, and he hits the wall and hits Wyatt Brackett way down the racetrack. Car 10 completely blindsided there by Parker. Oh, he's right on his left rear quarter panel after dooring it out. Parker's just going to lift it to the corner. Oh, Wyatt takes him up the racetrack. More contact in the second corner.
Would it be safe to say that Wyatt is just a little upset about that one?
Yeah, Wyatt is unhappy.
He just forced him right up the racetrack going through the tunnel turn. Can we talk about that save? He did an amazing job keeping that car straight.
And Parker in the wall.
Ooh, that was he hit it square. So let's just not rule out the fact that he might not have too much damage.
From bad to worse for Parker Bland. It was great. He was in 4th spot and just suddenly started, went to the top side and won for some reason. Came off the wall and completely doored the 10. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Completely doored the 10 and is now trying to play catch up here with everybody else. Moving backwards very, very quickly. Started 38th. He's been as low as 38th and moved his way forward since then, but it's not looking good right now.
He tried to stay out, or actually no, he just tried to get some track position at the end of the stage. Running 38th, you would want to try to take a bold strategy call, try to get to the front, but I don't know if the strategy goes pay out as he just continues to drop as he's going to drop out of the top 10.
Look at these gaggles back here. Cars battling everywhere just outside the top 10, including Austin Reedy, who just passed Kip Beasley and Parker Bland. And these guys up front are all over the place. Lawson Peel all the way down to the bottom side of the racetrack, down the front stretch trying to pass Joe Sanchez and, more importantly, Warren Kyle Keith. Joe Sanchez, Lawson Peel, they're teammates at DBR, but Warren Kyle Keith trying to hold these DBR guys off for the sake of Keith and others ahead of them. Ross Harlow, Justin Erb under the SKM camp. I believe Kevin Hurley technically is as well, being in the 42 car. And, of course, well, Sega Keith, Warren Kyle Keith, trying to hold them off right now.
It's just in damage control right now. As we've been saying since the start of the race, it just hasn't seemed like he's had the race pace to be able to contend with these guys as he's trying to make a move third now.
And I don't know that it's been pace concerns necessarily for Warren Kyle Keith this season. I think it's been just a lack of racing at full pace this season. He just hasn't been entirely confident, hasn't taken any risks with this car. He's got a race win. He won at Las Vegas earlier this year. He doesn't have to be all that risky right now. He can just get through the summer and get to the playoffs. So I understand it a little bit, but at some point you'd want to see these runs go the right way for car 22, and they just have not.
Look at Mario Miranda. He just went around the outside of Warren Kyle Keith, and I believe he's trying to get to the third right now. They are 3
Yeah,
wide.
he just went by Kevin Hurley and Joe Sanchez like they were standing still. Sanchez into the tunnel turn, sweeps up the racetrack right behind the 99. Oh, this is going to be a fun day.
Look at that. Mario Miranda, P3, looking on P2. And we're still battling. Warren Kyle Keith on the bottom. Reedy just behind the two of them. And Keith is going to clear for 6th position.
Look at the
And they're
fights
moving
behind
around
these
back
guys.
there.
Oh my goodness, even Justin Erb down the racetrack, blocking
Oh,
Mario
Miranda.
Miranda. Joe Sanchez way down there. Side by side are Sanchez and Miranda. Miranda on the inside, Sanchez outside. And whoa, Miranda sends it way into turn 1 and clears the 24 car.
This is some racing we're seeing tonight. This is absolutely incredible. I just hope they don't keep fighting for as much as they are for too long, because we all know how that usually ends.
You can see Justin Erb now in that 3rd spot, trailing the 99. Ross Harlow leading. I'd imagine the 99 will make quick work of the 5 car. Here comes the 55 to the inside of Justin Erb. You can see Lawson Peel in line. Warren Kyle Keith. Now the drivers up here that are on new tires, those are Miranda, Sanchez, Peel, Reedy, Stempian, and Kendall in the top 11. The drivers on old tires, those will be Harlow, Erb, and everybody else that wasn't mentioned up in the front, as Erb is going to have to deal with the 53 down this front stretch. And sure enough, Lawson Peel is going to have the advantage into the first corner. Nearly contact there, though, as Lawson goes right on by. And here comes Mario Miranda for the race lead.
He's going to try to cross him up just a little bit coming off an exit of turn 1. He's going to fall back in line. Just taking a bit of a wider line through turn 1.
Do you go inside or outside here?
Ooh, I'm thinking staying in line, really. Not close enough to set that move up. Just back your corner up a little bit. Try to get a better run so you can stand on the throttle sooner going into turn 3. He's going to take a look, letting Harlow know that he wants it. He wants to take that spot. He's going a little higher. Oh, he's getting it. Oh,
Caution.
we got a caution on the racetrack.
Parker Bland in trouble in car 01.
Oh, no.
Back up
Oh,
the
he's coming back
racetrack and gets hit again.
Just unfortunate for Parker Bland. He was falling back.
That was Brad
And-
Fulham he got, and Parker's done for the day.
I looked on the ticker while we were watching that battle. He was up in the top 10. I just saw him in 18th, so it's just unfortunate to see his day end like this. And he was one of those drivers. That's an interesting point. He was on the cut line, 13 points above the cut line, and this is going to be detrimental to his playoff hopes. He can't even get that car rolling on the access road.
Yeah, Parker's done. He took Brad Fulham and at least Brad with him, if not more. We'll go back and see how this starts. Car 01 having a bad day. Racing here with Curtis Kelly, Jesse Whittington, Justin Hendry. I see Casey Knight in contact there with Zach Wilson. Ahead of these guys, or as I mentioned, Curtis Kelly, then Chris Shoemaker, Wyatt Brackett, Brandon Banks, Justin Winters. And into the second corner, how does this all start? It's going to be out of turn 2 and headed down to turn 3, it looks like. Parker's on the outside of Whittington. And Whittington just came up, thought he was clear. Oh, that's a big hit.
Ooh, that's a very big hit. Tires are off the car, trying to lock it down. He's still rolling, still sliding, and that's just wrong place, wrong time.
Unfortunately, Parker didn't lock it down very quickly. I think he was in disbelief there for a moment. But I'm not sure what the locked brakes would have done. Let's go back and look at it. This is really unfortunate for Parker, and as you mentioned, he comes in today 13 points to the good. This is going to be a lot of points now to the bad, I dare say, as Whittington turns him down the backstretch. And, we call it honestly. We don't sugarcoat things. Whittington turned him. It's not intentional. Whittington didn't want to turn him, but he did. And, man, that's a hard impact. Comes back up the racetrack, not locked up, and that part actually was really detrimental there, and that might be a warning from race control potentially, or at least after the fact, of don't throttle back up as you're spinning. Lock the car down. That's right on board. This from Parker Bland's perspective. Let's watch this view first. This will really show as he gets turned here. Jesse just comes up and Parker's along for the ride. Big hit there, and watch the RPMs if he throttles back up, and yeah, sure enough, he does.
Might have just dropped the car down in first gear to see if he could save it somewhat, but
Yeah, now you can see him pegging the RPMs. He's trying to get going somewhere, but the left rear, the right rear wheel actually is completely knocked out.
one trick a lot of sim racers try to use when they're getting spun out is they drop the RPMs, or excuse me, they drop the gears, raise those RPMs, try to get the car rolling in the opposite direction of the spin, see if they can save it any chance they get. But you know, when you just get hooked in the left rear like that, there's not much you can do.
This is Brad Fulham. It'll be a big detriment to his day. I think he's still in this race, definitely, but going to be in a bad spot. Stevens checks up, and yeah, here just comes Parker Bland up the racetrack, and unfortunately puts the 45 in the fence.
It's more unfortunate on the fact of Fulham saw it ahead of time, and he started checking up halfway down the straightaway, and then all the action just occurred in front of him, and then pretty much there was Parker Bland, and nothing he could do.
One more look for the sake of Brad Fulham as the action starts. You can see the 45 behind Charles Phelps and some others. Sturgeon gets out of the way. Fulham checks up properly and then just suddenly is blindsided there by the 01. And, I mean, he should be fine. It looks like the suspension pieces on that 45 car are okay. Bit of cosmetic damage. He'll pull away and get back after it. And yeah, we can see here in a moment under caution that the car is okay. No real takers under this yellow. Wyatt Brackett, James Kunkel, Brad Fulham, and Parker Bland, the only cars to visit pit lane. And Parker, of course, had to be towed there. And our leaders will work around the racetrack. It looks like already receiving the 1 to green signal, Zach. Let's go ahead and dial up one driver in the top 3. And that's going to be driver 55 quickly from Drinkin' Bros Racing. One of the guys has been loudest in these battles early, Joe Sanchez in the number 55 Chevrolet. And Joe, it's been an interesting first couple of stages here for you, and everybody else, for that matter, up in the front. How are you going to try and attack this restart?
Try to maintain the spot I'm in. The bottom really doesn't go anywhere on restarts, so just try to maintain my spot and maybe fall in line and then attack. We only have a couple laps, so I don't know if a stage win here is going to be possible, but we'll see.
And how important are stage points to you guys? You already have a couple of wins this season. It doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal, but certainly stage wins mean playoff points.
Yeah, the stage win definitely going to help the playoff points, but right now sitting pretty comfortably in 4th, so we'll kind of stay there.
Well, Joe, best of luck to you here. We'll get you back down with your DBR teammates and go get a stage win.
Thank you.
Joe Sanchez coming to the restart from the 3rd position. We'll see what these guys can do as we come down to the Geico restart zone. The field all in formation. Ross Harlow outside, Mario Miranda inside. This might have just saved Ross Harlow's stage. We'll find out in a few moments. Miranda quickly down to the 4th spot. Peel and Sanchez swarming car 99, and now getting after car 5 out front. Ross Harlow's got a mirror full of Barstool Sports on the hood of that 53 car.
It looks like the top 4 cars are just breaking away from the rest of the field.
We've seen that most of the day. The top 4, the bottom side goes backwards, but the top 4 at least get separated, and it's the 5th place on back where they really start to battle, and that's the case. As here we go for the race lead. Lawson Peel down to the inside of Harlow, but Harlow can defend up there. And Peel is going to have less momentum onto the front stretch, but he might still get the spot at the line. Not quite. Dooring him almost down the front stretch, and he's got help from his teammate.
Oh, we might go 3 wide going into turn 1. No, Sanchez is going to stay in line. They go into turn 1. Sanchez underneath Harlow looking, trying to get there on Peel, but Peel is going to defend going through turn 1. And things are going to start heating up as the sun looks like it's coming out a little bit.
Maybe a bit of sunlight. 5 laps to go in stage 2. Side by side are Harlow and Miranda. Miranda deep into the corner to the inside of the 5 car, pushing up out of turn 2. Now a bit of sunlight down the north straightaway here at Pocono. 5th place, Austin Reedy pulling up to these guys, doing some battle.
Reedy just wants them to keep on fighting because he is closing that gap. Miranda getting in the bumper of Harlow, I believe, as Reedy is going to close in. He might look for a move down the front stretch.
How about the cut line for stage points here in the stage? Ryan Kendall in, Kevin Hurley in, Dakota Curtis in, but Curtis Kelly, on the other hand, is the first car out of the stage points in the 11th position. That's that red and white number 29. It's that blue number 1, the final car earning stage points as Kendall moves at the racetrack, Curtis with him. And Miranda and Arlo still battle. Here they are, side by side, jockeying for position. Ross Harlow might hang on to a stage top 3, honestly, Zach. The tires are starting to wear out for those guys who pitted.
It's definitely helping that Miranda and Reedy are fighting as Reedy got a little loose going into turn 2, but he's going to clear Miranda. And I think Harlow is just loving what he's seeing, and so are Peel and Sanchez, as they've both gotten about 5/10 away from Harlow.
Here comes Stempy in on Warren Kyle Keith. That is good for 6th. And down to the inside goes Kevin Hurley. Car 42 is pitting, and he's not alone. I didn't quite catch the car. I think that might have been, yes, Kip Beasley, Austin Shoemaker, and more. They're pitting now, Zach, to have track position on the other side of the stage, of course. They want to pit now, get that out of the way, and not have to pit here in a few moments when the stage 2 caution flies.
They're definitely doing high risk, high reward right here because they're trying to get that track position. For those who are more GP racing, this is the undercut strategy, really. And pit road's going to close before the stage ends. They're going to try to stay out when the stage is over, be able to take those track positions, and ultimately, they're giving up stage points to go for the bigger picture, which is a win and a playoff lock.
The battle between teammates now for the stage. Joe Sanchez almost ruled him out for the stage win, but now he's battling with his teammate who won stage 1. Will Lawson Peel give Joe an easy gimme win here, or do they stay nose to tail potentially, and Lawson Peel power away to victory? 2 more laps in stage number 2 to find out. Chris Progar pulls down to the inside and will pit here. This is right on the verge of being legal or not. This actually might have been a little bit too late for these guys. We'll see if anything is done. We haven't had this issue in many races this year. I can't recall this being a scenario at all yet, so interesting that it's popping up now at Pocono. Down around the stage point cutoff line, though, not much has changed. Curtis is now ahead of Brandon Banks. Curtis Kelly still the first car out as Warren Kyle Keith is battling here with Ryan Kendall. Car 68 continues to move up, and Joe Sanchez is still right on the back end of Lawson Peel.
Fighting for that 9th and 10th position, which is definitely helping Curtis Kelly get closer to getting those stage points.
Look at the gear right there, in 4th gear, now up into 5th. So important to get these runs. 1 lap to go on the stage.
Curtis Kelly has moved into the 10th spot, getting that last stage point.
Moves ahead of Brandon Banks to do so. They're battling down here on board with Banks. Outside, in fact, of Curtis Kelly. So Curtis Kelly now back out of the top 10. That's how close it is. Miranda looks to the inside of Harlow. Miranda wants to break back into the top 5. Stempy, it looks like, has gotten on by Miranda. Mario is aggressive today, but is just not able to put the runs together. Faster cars getting by him left and right, those being Austin Reedy and Steven Stempy in this stage. And now, teammates going to battle it out to end stage number 2. Lawson Peel leading, Joe Sanchez second. It is going to be Lawson Peel back to the start-finish line to win stage number 2.
Looks like as we roll through the top 10 across the start-finish line, Brandon Banks is going to hold on to that 10th place spot to take that last and final stage point.
Well, that was an exciting stage finish. A bit different from
Certainly.
stage 1. You can see Barney waving to his heart's content as other cars come across the line. There's Wyatt Brackett, James Kunkel, Dustin Reeves in car 6. And yes, the final stage point, as you mentioned, Zach, going to Brandon Banks in the number 54 car. Dakota Curtis in the top 10. A good run so far for him with Saints Row on the side of his car. What edition of that game is it now? What? I can only imagine, actually. Let's see if it says. Criminal Customs. So there you go. Available at GameStop as per the side of Dakota's car. I love his paint schemes. You always have something new and different on the side of his number 1 car each and every week. Lawson Peel, though, winning the stage ahead of his teammate Joe Sanchez. Austin Reedy, Steven Stempian up there in the front running as well. What do you say? Since we've dialed up Lawson Peel already and Joe Sanchez, Zach, let's go ahead and dial up 3rd place. And we'll go ahead and hand you driver of the 96, Austin Reedy from Fast Banana Racing. Up there, not too much teammate help, but he goes 3rd in stage 2.
Austin Reedy, 3rd place, stage number 2. If you could just kind of walk us through how this race is going for you. There's a lot of well, it's a speedway. You guys are staying tight-knit together. The racing has been crazy. Just kind of walk us through your strategy and how everything's been kind of playing out for you tonight.
Yeah, I think you got to try to pick the right lanes where the draft's going to be at, and just I think the guys that pit with a couple of laps to go in that stage, I don't think the tire wears. I think it's too much, so I think we got to stay out here to the end of the stage and work the draft, try to get good exits. It's really hard to pass coming out of the turns here, even if you have a run, because everybody's up against the wall, sucking up to each other. So we have to make some magic happen and see what we can do.
Absolutely. One thing we have been talking about in the booth tonight, kind of building on your point, is that it's difficult to pass. You want to stay in the line with everybody. You poke out a line and someone doesn't come to help you, you're more than likely going to lose that spot. How is it trying to really work the draft and be able to actually stay within the top 5 and actually catch back up when everyone kind of starts breaking apart and you're able to get that cleaner air to catch back up?
Yeah, if you can get lucky, we can get some gaps in between cars. The draft isn't that big of a factor, but if you're bumper to bumper, it's really hard even to get a run on the bottom of somebody if they're drafting from the guy that's a second ahead. So just got to really try to pick the right lanes here and hopefully get a good restart and stay in this top 3 and be there at the end.
Absolutely. Well, we see you guys coming down pit road. We'll let you get back after it. Thanks for coming up into the booth talking to us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Austin Reedy getting valuable points here on the stage. Here comes everybody down to the pit lane to get service at the end of stage number 2. Really valuable opportunities to pit here for these guys. A couple of cars staying out, though. Wyatt Brackett, James Kunkel, Kevin Hurley among those. As you can see, our partners here with the MPI Cup Series on the left side of your screen. Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, KalistSynthetics.com, and SimMax. As it's Lawson Peel off the pit lane first. And he will lead a field of very hungry race car drivers off the pit lane with brand new Goodyear rubber aboard their Chevrolets, Fords, and Toyotas. Joe Sanchez behind him, then Steven Stepien, Austin Reedy, Mario Miranda, Ryan Kendall, Ross Harlow, Dakota Curtis, Curtis Kelly, Warren Keith, and so many more. But that takes you through your top 20. Cars staying out, Wyatt Brackett, James Kunkel, Kevin Hurley, Kip Beasley, Chris Shoemaker, your top 5. So a lot changing.
I thought I was going to have to take over the broadcast there. You seem like you're about to run out of breath.
You know, I had kind of the, the auctioneer thing going there for a moment with names. But while we have this opportunity, let's actually bring that graphic right back up with our MPI partners. This MPI Cup Series. A whole lot of great people doing a lot of great things for the MPI Cup Series. They're all integral to what goes on. This league is one of the best on iRacing. Of course, Max Pappas Innovations takes every aspect of construction and safety to heart in the most accurate and dedicated way possible. Max Pappas' goal has always been to apply his experience and knowledge to produce a state-of-the-art product for the racing community. And if you're on social media and you follow along with Zach Wilson, he was even out at Sharon Speedway in Ohio last night sporting the MPI t-shirt. That was pretty cool to see. Auto Tempest saves you time, effort, and guesswork when buying a car by gathering results from all top used car websites, eBay Motors, Cars.com, TrueCar, Carvana, you name it, they've got it. Nowhere else will you find more listings in one place, and Auto Tempest makes it easy so you can spend less time looking for your ideal car and more time driving it. KalistSynthetics.com is an independent dealer of Amsoil lubricants serving the USA and Canada alike, providing custom engine lubrication solutions to all types of customers, from residential lawn care crews to race teams to hauling fleets. They have the products and expertise to help you save time and money. Go to KalistSynthetics.com or call 785-813-1882. That is 785-813-1882 to order. And of course, a big thank you to our partners here at PitStop TV, Whiplash Media Sim Cams, providing the cameras you see on screen, Sim Wrap Market, and Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. Stage number 3 coming up. We're just past halfway in this race, Zach. 80 laps the distance this evening. And we've got a lot of you watching over on YouTube. Let us know where you're watching from. Give a shout out to whoever you're watching for, whatever driver you're pulling for this evening, whoever you think is going to win, and let us know how many turns you feel Pocono has, because Zach, I'm telling you, it is a 5-turn course here. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, cross out that 3, we've got 5.
You seem to love drawing 5s
do.
tonight.
I'm not very good at it with a mouse. It's not as easy as you would think. Trust me. But I'm telling you, it's a 5-turn corner here at 5-turn track here at Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And I'm telling you, it's 5. It's not 3, it's 5. But we'll
I can't tell.
Well,
I can't tell that it's 5 because you can't even draw 5 tonight.
Okay.
It might as well be 4. Oh,
Okay.
no, there we go. It's 3. It's 3.
Down to the
See, it says
Geico
what?
restart zone.
4.
Wyatt Brackett inside. James Kunkel in the black number 3 outside. Green flag is going to fly. We're back racing at Pocono. Up the racetrack, that's Hurley alongside Kunkel. But for the first time tonight, one of the bottom side drivers got things going on the restart. That was Wyatt Brackett from first, and even Kevin Hurley from the 3rd spot. They battled down to the tunnel turn.
They are jumbling around in the middle of the field. They were 3 wide coming off turn 2. I thought they were going to wreck. I saw Miranda go down to the bottom. It was definitely just a gaggle of cars trying to go after it on this restart with fresh Goodyear rubber. Chris Progar going through turn 3. A lot of these guys are the ones that stayed out. They short.
Here's the first car on tires. Lawson Peel out of the Mid-South alongside Garrett Brown battling now for the 8th position across the line. The first lap of stage 3 is complete.
He is hanging on his quarter panel.
Lawson Peel heavy down to turn 1, tries to lunge to the inside of car 16, stays there alongside Garrett Brown, but we've got to fight for the lead. Wyatt Brackett, Kevin Hurley, side by side at the Long Pond straightaway.
Down into turn 2, this is where things get dicey. It's a tight corner. They're going to push up just a little bit coming off corner exit. They are still side by side, Hurley and Brackett. Oh, actually, nope, they are still side by side.
That's Hurley in the red, 42 on the inside, Brackett in the blue, 10 on the outside. The black number 3 of James Kunkel, a teammate to Brackett is, oh, that looked like Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain. The 42 put the 10 on the wall. That is not the first time Wyatt's been used up today, but he hangs on to the race lead with his teammate in lockstep formation. That is James Kunkel from Fast Banana Racing pushing him, and here comes Kip Easley, a big send to the inside.
Parker Bland coming back out on track. I almost thought there was going to be a Kevin LePage moment.
Kip Easley rearing his head for the first time tonight. He's played some pit strategy and put himself in a solid position here in stage 3. He needs these points. He's trying to get into the top 16 for the first time this season. Chris Shoemaker, a big block on Logan Sturgeon, it looks like, and he gets sent into turn 2. Sturgeon, though, backs himself up. Here comes Sanchez to the inside.
They are just moving around. Coming off the 3 wide a little bit. Stempian is going to try to make that run. They're still fighting up there for the top 5.
There's no shortage of racing at Pocono. Oh, Chris Progar, there's a car there. No! What are you doing, buddy? Oh, my goodness. And they're crashing all across the front stretch. You see Jesse Whittington in the back. Progar's done. Oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be really, really bad.
Are we going to have any more wrecking going into turn 1? We do! Car around, turn 1!
I think that's Hendry. Yeah, it is.
Oh, no.
What just happened?
I don't know!
Oh, boy.
Okay, I feel like this is appropriate. Have you ever?
No, I've never. That's usually my way. Let's go back and see what just happened in stage number 3 here. Chris Progar seemingly decided that he no longer needed a spotter. Took things into his own manner. And comes down the racetrack here. I love Chris Progar, but I'm boggled by this one. Out of turn 3, he just turns left into Kip Easley. I don't know what was going on, if maybe he broke the car or something. He did get the wall out of 3.
In his defense, and I'm going to be the one who defends him here, they were trying to snake in front of him. Maybe he was just trying to follow the snake and stay in the draft and just, well, didn't see anything.
Somebody else turns the 11 car around into turn 1. Let's go back and see what happens here for the 17. I want to go on board with Chris and see if we can find out what goes on from an onboard perspective. This might tell more of the story. Watch his steering angle. Can't really see much of his hands, but I guess we'll be able to see a little bit.
You can see his right hand. Doesn't move too much.
It didn't move. He just goes down the racetrack and gets hit multiple times. Austin Shoemaker. Here comes Ryan Kendall. At this point, the 17 is destroyed. He's just trying to hang on for dear life, and everybody else is trying to swerve to miss him. Multiple cars get into him, and then something happens with Justin Hendry. He gets turned by somebody. I think that was Isaac Mock that turned him into one. And as all of this happened, there was somebody turning Jesse Whittington in the back.
My goodness. Just 3 different incidents all over the racetrack.
Let's see what happened to Whittington here. He's racing with Judd Danielson, Joseph Mahar, and many others.
This is coming into turn 3, so
Brandon Banks
just
in the middle.
Just before the
Charles
incident
Phelps, and this is just extra bizarro. Whittington gets the wall, comes down into Banks. My goodness. That looked like Jeb Burton and Ryan Blaney mixed into one right there. Into turn 1, Justin Hendry gets clipped by the 7. Watch this. And it's, I think, a bit of a result of Warren Kyle Keith swerving to miss the crash. Nothing Warren did, but just a result of that.
Oh my goodness. The rear end of the 11 is just completely smashed. Doesn't look like any, the toe link or the wheel is disconnected in any way. So it might just be a little bit of cosmetic. You might be able to go. But that's more than we can say for most of the drivers involved in these wrecks today.
And now it's going to be a 30-lap shootout, well, a little bit less, and just survival of the fittest. Wow. Lawson Peel is still running. Kip Easley with him. The top, let's see here, the top 21 stay out, including Justin Hendry, which is bizarre to me because you can see the damage on the back of his car. Look at that.
That bumper bar is actually poking out a little bit.
Yeah, if it was NX, you'd have a black flag.
Don't talk to me about bumper bars hanging off in the summer shootout. I've seen too many of them, even off my own teammates.
So Justin Hendry's going to stay out with the damage. The top 26 or 21 or so do stay out. The first car to pit is Wyatt Brackett, now on new tires. He comes in for 4 in fuel. Along with him are James Kunkel and Kevin Hurley. Everybody else behind here pitting. That's going to include Charles Phelps, Brad Fulham, Ross Harlow, Logan Sturgeon, and so many more. Even Warren Kyle Keith and Justin Winters. Even Justin Erb back there. But Lawson Peel is your race leader. Let's talk to Garrett Brown. He just saw all of that happen. He was in the center of most of it. Let's see if we can find driver 16 and talk with him ourselves. Racing for Prestige Worldwide Racing. And Garrett, a lot just happened on the front stretch. What did you see from your point of view?
Oh man, I just saw a lot of chaos. It looked like there were some cars that were trying to break the draft and go down, and then just they met in the middle. I don't know, it just looked like typical Pocono where there's a lot of people trying to break the draft and then just snaking into each other, and then chaos broke loose behind me. I got lucky to slip by.
So Garrett, you're restarting third here. You've been as low as 36th, as high now as the third position, inside of 30 to go. What are you going to do to try and win this race? We know you need it to make it into the playoffs. You're in so far on points, I think, but you can't rely on points.
Exactly. And last week I was in a decent spot going in towards the end of the race, and then I was running, top 5, and then made a mistake and wrecked and really just kind of threw the night out the window. I think tonight I think I've kept my tires on the car pretty well this run so far. Hit it a little bit before the end of stage 2 to flip the field, and I just got to keep staying conscious of my tires and watch the fuel gauge because it's looking a little close, and just be open to strategy. As we saw in the race today, it can decide a lot of the results.
So assuming here you save a little bit of fuel by staying in 5th gear, how do you do so without getting run over with all these runs we're seeing? It's easy for the top 4 to get separated at first, but then everybody catches you back up.
Yeah, exactly. I think just really got to nail the tunnel turn. That's where the runs get the biggest, and you got to back it up right and make sure you shoot out of it on exit, and also get a good run out of turn 3. Those 2 corners, it seems like you got to hit the exit or you're going to get freight trained.
Well, Garrett, best of luck, buddy. Hopefully the body panels are reinforced. Looks like you're going to need it this evening, and hopefully we're talking to Car 16 a little bit.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, guys.
Garrett Brown, Car 16 for Prestige Worldwide. He's going to need some luck as well. Everybody else here on this restart headed down to the ICO restart zone one more time. 30 laps to go this time, Zach. Green flag is out for Lawson Peel. down the Long Pond straightaway. James Kunkel in the middle of all of this, and we've already got a battle for the race lead. It looks like Chris Shoemaker in the Busch Light Apple number 4 Ford Mustang. Up to the second spot, Joe Sanchez third. Steven Stempian, Kip Easley fourth and fifth. And somewhere all of this, Garrett Brown has fallen down to ninth off the restart. I guess it's bad luck talking to us right before restart. Miranda, a big move.
Ooh. One person up there that we haven't seen up running inside the top 5, Dakota Curtis on the outside of Mario Miranda.
In seventh, battling for sixth, gets a nose ahead as these guys do the IndyCar snake down the front stretch, trying to break draft, trying to find draft, you name it, as they head down to turn 1. Chris Shoemaker on the coattails now of Lawson Peel. These are your top 3, 4, 5 cars as they head through the first corner. Lawson Peel, that blue Chevrolet out front. Chris Shoemaker, the red Ford. Peel's got 4 wins. Shoemaker needs one on the season. Let's see what he can do here.
Into turn 2. He closes a little bit, but, you know, that dirty air is just making the handling a little bit tougher in the car. He's trying to get that gap closed up, having a little bit of trouble as we go into turn 3. Sanchez closing in just a little bit. Shoemaker is going to try to go around the outside. Like I said earlier, you got to find that line where the clean air is, and you got to be able to drive off the corner and get that good run as they are snaking down the front stretch. Sanchez, stay high.
Trying to find that draft or get other drivers out of their draft as they snake down the front stretch here at Pocono. Moving all around, your top 4. All getting comfortable, it looks like, and that's a relative term here as these guys are all over the place. Austin Shoemaker, a bit of nose damage, racing here with Garrett Brown. The top 10 cutoff, well, that's Daniel Michel battling with Kip Easley. Easley now noses ahead on the outside lane. Isaac Mock back here. The bright yellow Toyota Camry rather is Joseph Mahar with Dollar General colors on board this week. Oh, got real close to the outside wall, but keeps it off of it. Here comes Sanchez to the inside of Shoemaker.
He's there. He's on the quarter. Look at that dash. 4th gear, trying to get that good run.
Watch that gear selection.
Heel comes down on the front stretch. He's trying to keep these guys side by side so he can pull away.
Lawson Peel pulls Joe Sanchez and Steven Stempian, trying to usurp the number 4 car, and they will. That brings Austin Reedy now. Daytona and Auto Club winner. Won the first 2 races on the season. Hasn't won since. Boy, would he love to win on another speedway tonight.
Don't look too much further back. You're going to see Dakota Curtis and Mario Miranda closing that gap as well. They're benefiting from all this battling.
Down into 4th gear, Austin Reedy trying to hang on for dear life. Dakota Curtis battling to the inside. Mario Miranda with him. Stempian, though, putting the pressure on car 4, and he will get that spot for now. But Chris Shoemaker is not done, and Chris so desperately needs a win. At least needs a good finish tonight at Pocono.
He was trying to hang around the quarter, but Stempian just cleared him coming off of turn 3. They are snaking. Reedy, Dakota Curtis, they are sitting right there, right behind Shoemaker, trying. Oh, wait, no, Shoemaker actually fell a little further back than I expected. Wait, no, I'm a little mistaken. There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them.
Look at the field come through the first corner here at Pocono. Back onto the backstretch. Your top 10 or so, all single file, all the way down, in fact, through Zach Wilson, the winner at Richmond so long ago. Austin Reedy looks to the inside of Chris Shoemaker. He will send it. There goes the TJ's Team 96. He gets loose, but hangs on to it.
Very loose. What a great save. Such hard cars to save right now as well. Dakota Curtis tried to follow him through there, but now he's going to try to hang around the outside, staying right behind Shoemaker. Reedy will clear Curtis, though, but he's going to stay on the bottom. I don't know if he's clear of Shoemaker just yet.
If you like what you're seeing with the cameras, check out Whiplash Media sim cams. As these guys head down to turn 1, side by side once again. Reedy to the inside, Curtis on the outside, Chris Shoemaker defending for 4th.
Shoemaker doing one heck of a job tonight. You saw him mostly towards the back of the pack majority of the night, but now you're coming up on almost 20 laps to go, and here he is running in 4th as Curtis clears Reedy for 5th, and Mario Miranda is trying to look around the outside.
Shoemaker in the wall, Reedy with him.
That was incredibly...
Here comes Curtis. Curtis missed it between those 2, and he will dive to the inside of the 4 car. It looks like Chris is still in this, but some damage certainly to car number 4. He gives up the bottom side down the front stretch. And here comes
Reedy
Austin
on the
Reedy to
inside.
the inside. Reedy got the fence, but it wasn't nearly as hard.
Miranda is going to go with Reedy as Curtis clears Shoemaker for 4th. Is he going to be able to go after Sempian, though, or is Reedy going to make a charge?
A blimp view now as there's Chris Shoemaker, rather, and Austin Shoemaker in the picture. Here comes the black and orange 14 car, trying to help him.
Yeah.
The
3
Shoemaker's
wide,
up top.
baby.
Miranda and Brown will lift. Michel with a run on the top side.
Look at Miranda letting off the gas so much because the 25 of Michel started coming into the picture, and he was still 3 wide with all these other cars. So he had to back off just an insane amount, and now he's on the verge of losing out on being inside the top 10.
On board of Austin Shoemaker as he trails Chris Shoemaker. Position 6 and 7. This is exactly what these two need tonight at Pocono. Even if they don't win, they both need to run really well. They've got to work together, and they will down the front stretch. The top 2 Fords in this race, nose to tail.
They are going after Reedy and Curtis, as Curtis is actually closing in on Sempian. I think Reedy and Curtis both need to be just working together. Dakota is making a good charge on pulling Reedy to the front. He's got the draft of Steven Sempian, and as long as they stay nose to tail, they should be able to catch the top 3, as they're only about a 10th behind them.
On board with Dakota, an early downshift into the tunnel turn. The temperatures in this race, of course, it's overcast today in the virtual Long Pond, Pennsylvania. 76-degree track temp, it's cool. 68 degrees in the air. These guys can push the engine temps.
Dakota got a very good run through the tunnel turn.
He's looking good right now, but here comes Austin Reedy to the outside, going to push the 1 car down a lane. That's going to put Dakota back into the pit spot by turn 1, it looks like.
Is he going to fall in line, though? He is. He's letting up just a little bit. He's going to let Reedy go by. That's good. Let Reedy get the spot. Don't sit around fighting, because you're just going to lose 2, 3, even 4 more spots if you try to do that.
Reedy, though, has got to be aware of his connection issues. He's blinking pretty consistently now, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. The Shoemakers behind these guys, 6th and 7th. Let's drop deep in the field a little bit, see these battles way further back. Kept Beasley alongside, and he will get passed by Joseph Mahar, but Mahar way up the track. The 19 way up there.
That was a bit of a too hard of a drive by Mahara going into turn 2, and they're roughing around with each other going into turn 3.
3 wide. Warren
Still 3
Kyle Keith on the
wide.
outside of it. Way at the racetrack is that Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Rim riding at Pocono. That's rare.
And one driver we didn't really expect to see back here is Ross Harlow. He's sitting in the 19th position trying to fight with these guys. Warren Kyle Keith.
Yeah, our front row is out here outside of the top 15, but inside of the top 20 in this exact battle. Warren Kyle Keith started on pole. He is now 16th, and Ross Harlow is now 20th.
They are still 3 wide. They're back to 2 now. Harlow and Keith both on the bottom, just trying to make it work. It just seems like the strategy just didn't really play out their favor. Wow! Warren Kyle Keith just slotting in line. That was dicey.
Let's go back up front. Joe Sanchez. These guys were moving around that last time at a turn number 2. They got in line. They stay in line, but they are definitely battling as Daniel Michel has moved up ahead of Chris Shoemaker, and car 4 is headed backwards in a hurry. Here comes
Was it me
Dakota
or
Curtis.
was Reedy? Reedy was just way too wide coming out of turn 3. That allowed Curtis to take that spot. He's going to clear him going into 1. Whoa! Didn't know if he was completely clear there for a second.
Side by side now are Shoemaker and Reedy as they head out of turn number 1, headed down the Long Pond straightaway here at Pocono, Pennsylvania.
They are snaking around. Stempian just trying to stay with Sanchez.
Ooh.
That is a bit of a send by Shoemaker.
Up the racetrack, Michel on the outside though. Nearly contact out of the second corner. By the way, 20 laps to go here at Pocono. We're into the final quarter, if you will, Zach.
Shoemaker may actually be struggling just a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, but I did. His front end is pushed in. It looks a little bit like he hit a telephone post.
Yeah, he got that damage one of the earlier cautions. I want to say that one into turn 1. I want to say he got into the back end of Chris Brogard.
It just might be, but do you think it might be affecting his handling a little bit because he gets to the inside of someone and he just can't stay down there?
I don't even know if it's a damage, Zach. A lot of these guys that he's battling with are frankly, a lot more consistent, a lot better usually. And sure, he's got pace tonight, but is he burning those tires off? That's the concern, I think, for car 14. Having to run a little bit harder potentially. Actually, did he just get into the back of the 25 car? I think
He
so.
did. He absolutely did. He forced 25 of Michel at the racetrack, and here's Miranda taking advantage of what just happened.
Look at these guys
He's gonna
back
get
here.
two spots.
Wyatt Brackett, I saw 2-3 wide. Chris Shoemaker back here. It just does not stop.
Harlow on the bottom. He's trying to get some more spots again. They
Shoemaker's
are.
pitting.
Oh, that is dicey. That was incredibly dicey.
The 4
Almost
cars
had a
going to come
caution
in for
right there.
service. I think finally realizing he was not going to make it to the end, first of all, and secondly, he had some damage. Curtis Kelly actually, no, that was Kevin Hurley way down on the inside, but Kelly on the inside of Brackett, it looks like, and might get that spot. He will. It's starting to single file out a little bit, but here we go. Stempian moved around that time to the Long Pond straightaway. We're going to have 17 laps to go, this time by the start-finish.
Eel seems to have stretched that lead out a little bit as Shoemaker is working on Miranda again.
I think it's more like Miranda working on Shoemaker and Shoemaker pushing up the racetrack. Yeah, this 14 car has burned his tires off, and he's been out here for 26 laps. I think his time to pit is coming. I'm not sure he can go to the end.
Honestly, Andrew, do you think he might just have to bite the bullet and take the pit road entry and get those tires?
He's a little more competitive than Chris was, so I think he can wait for a caution, but he's going to start losing time. I think he's got to gamble. He's got to stay out in case he can get the yellow.
He's definitely pushing. He almost hit Miranda there going through turn 1.
And he's not slow. If he catches a yellow, puts tires in that car with the rest of these guys, I think he's going to be perfectly fine. But that pit strategy to pit a little bit early, I'm not sure if it's going to work out for him.
Well, you never know. It's the name of the game. It's racing. You just got to roll with the dices.
No, I absolutely agree. These guys that are trying to get their way into the playoffs need to do exactly that. I'm so proud, so proud of the guys that have gotten off strategy, gotten off kilter, whatever you want to call it, to try and do something as you see the leaders snaking down the front stretch. Stempian gets on by Sanchez that way into turn 1. I am so proud of the guys that have tried something else. They pitted at the end of stage number 2 to leapfrog these guys, get track position. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work out. It looks like finally these guys want to stay clean and green and race to the end. As you can see, everybody file on down the backstretch here at Pocono.
It's definitely a little odd how much the gap has expanded. It's up to almost half a second from Peel to Stempian. Sanchez stayed high. Stempian and Peel just pulled down on the front straightaway and were able to... Peel pulled Stempian right around Sanchez.
If you're just joining us, we'll come to 15 laps to go, this time by Austin Reedy, Dakota Curtis battling into turn 3. Thanks for joining us for the MPI Cup Series on the iRacing.com Motorsport Simulator. There we go, covered by PitStop TV. Lawson Peel won stages 1 and 2. Steven Stempian, Joe Sanchez, Dakota Curtis, they've all been good. Even Austin Reedy and Mario Miranda. Daniel Michel has recently come to relevance in this race.
He is just loving sitting right behind Dakota Curtis and Austin Reedy. He's telling him, battle more. I'm going to keep closing that gap, and the second one of you slips up, I'm going to follow the other one and get that spot.
He started deep in the field, 20th position starting spot for him. Not at all what he's used to, not at all what he wants or needs, as here we go. He's still looking for that first win of the season. And he's going to fight aggressively with the guy who was first in victory lane. It's Austin Reedy on the outside. Michel sends it into 3. So does Reedy, though. Trying to hang on to that, what is it, 6th spot? 5th spot?
7th. Nope. Oh, it is 5th. I am mistaken.
There's so much happening, Zach. We're inside of 15 to go now. 14 even. There is so much going on throughout the entire field. Look at Harlow.
These guys fighting. Oh. Harlow and Warren Kyle Keith.
They're moving up finally. A few cars had to pit. They're finally working their way forward. They've got the best tires in the field by about 7 laps. 7 laps better than the leaders. Isaac Mock, Wyatt Brackett there as well.
3 wide.
Warren Kyle Keith way down to the bottom as he looks to the inside of Brackett. No, he'll file back in line. Oh, contact maybe with Mock and Brackett.
This is for 10th.
Harlow into 9th, Brackett 10th, Mock and Keith 11th and 12th. 13th is Zach Wilson. 14th is Justin Winters. Oh, maybe contact with Hurley and Kelly there into the third corner.
Seeing a lot of aggression on these brand new tires. They are not sitting around anymore. They've only got a limited amount of time to get back to the front. And Ross Harlow up to 9th. Warren Kyle Keith breaking into the top 10 now. They are just going after it right outside the top 10 as well. Bumper to bumper.
Our top three have really split up, Zach. Lawson Peel has got a half second on Steven Stempion, and it's growing. Joe Sanchez, another 7/10ths back. The first battle on racetrack is for 4th. Dakota Curtis on the outside in car 1. Austin Reedy on the bottom in car 96. He'll take the 4th spot. Here comes Michel. Austin Shoemaker is still hanging on.
I was about to say he got back by Miranda, and he's going to pass Michel.
He's got to run on the bottom side. If he could just catch a yellow, he's in this race. He might even be able to save the fuel to go the distance.
What was that about tires you were saying, Andrew? Because it seems like Shoemaker is making them work.
I thought he had burned him off, but props to him. He's hanging in right now. Swavely and Mahar moving around to the back, and whoa, contact. There we go, Miranda's going to crash.
Miranda in the wall. He's going back down the racetrack.
Contact with Austin Shoemaker. Mario Miranda into the wall hard, and that is going to be it for car 99, at least in competitive competition. And he's going to have a lot of damage. He's still green. We're still green. 12 laps to go that time by. He's still in this technically, but let's see. He is well down the order now. 20th position.
Do we see something from race control on that?
I doubt it.
That is unfortunate for Miranda. He was fighting all day. He had such a great car. Shoemaker working on the tail as well.
Cars 14 and 25 here side by side. Now getting back in line.
Now this is helpful for cars like Ross Harlow and Warren Kyle Keith and Wyatt Brackett. They were just outside the trap. And now they are back in the fight to even try to get a top 5 as we are coming up on 10 to go next time by.
Not quite white flag yet. There we go. That's what we wanted. The MPI Cup Series, of course, brought to you by Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, KListSynthetics.com, and SimMax. And all broadcasts here on PitStop TV brought to you by Whiplash Media, SimCam, SimRapMarket.com, and Daniel Michel hard on the wall. Shoemaker's going to turn him around, and that is a caution with 11 laps to go, and he is finally on the brakes.
That is a lucky break.
That is catastrophe.
But a lucky break for Miranda. I was just going to say, Michel went a little too hard into the corner. He got up into the marbles a little bit. He hit the wall, and then Shoemaker had nowhere to go.
This is going to be a really pivotal point in time, Zach. Does Shoemaker catch a penalty for this? We got to go back and find out what happened.
I don't see a penalty coming his way.
I doubt it.
Really his fault.
We got to make sure. I seriously doubt it. Michel caught the wall and came back down, but let's watch this. You're watching here for the first time with the MPI Cup Series and PitStop TV. Drop us a follow, drop us a subscription, drop us a like. Michel had no rotation, pounded the wall, comes back down the racetrack. It's clear as day.
If you take a look at Michel going into turn 2, he took an earlier entry, really, and it just kind of set him up to push too hard through the corner.
Let's watch this from a blimp. Watch that black, red, and white 25 with the black and orange 14.
You just
Turns
see him
in way early.
That's what I'm saying. He turned in way before Dakota did, and then there he goes hitting the wall, and Shoemaker nowhere to go, and that's just more damage to his car. So he's probably not going to face a penalty, but at the same time, he's going to have the penalty of damage repair and taking those tires.
Our field going to work down to the safety of pit lane here. I say safety, more like relative safety, as they're going to come in for service, and a whole lot can go wrong here. They can miss their pit box. They can have a longer stop. They can potentially spin on pit exit, Zach. That's not all that hard to do if you lay the throttle down from the clutch.
Definitely, especially with first gear in these cars. It's so low, the RPMs get so high so fast, and you're able to spin these tires incredibly easily. But as we're coming down for pit stops, we see everyone taking service. The one person that did not want to see this caution was Peel. He was driving away. He almost got that gap up to 6-7 tenths.
Warren Cockey from the pit lane. Let's see what he can do onto this pit stop cycle. Up for left sides, everybody taking 4. The first car off, though, is Austin Reedy. And it looks like it's going to be a 2-tire stop for Reedy and for his teammate Wyatt Brackett. That is huge. That is pivotal, Zach. That's going to change things.
Changes everything. It definitely throws this race out the window, I can tell you that.
10.67 second stop. That's still 2 tires.
That's a stretch. That's going to be a stretch. Drivers like Peel, Curtis, they took 4 tires. They lost track position. Reedy, Brackett, they stayed out with 2 tires. Well, they didn't stay out. They still pitted.
Chris Shoemaker stays out. Remember, he pitted under that green run. This could be a dream scenario for car 4. While these guys pace around under caution, though, let's take a quick break on PitStop TV and come right back to you in just a few moments for what could be the most important restart of the night. Chris Shoemaker over Austin Reedy and Wyatt Brackett and so many more. We'll be right back to you with more live racing from Pocono.
What I'm really proud is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
This hand.
Yeah. This grip
Yeah.
has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like lifting, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation. Amazing. And we did.
Polar. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest. All the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
Welcome back to the virtual Pocono Raceway. Green flag on the way. Austin Reedy, Chris Shoemaker, your front row. Shoemaker with the advantage. We're back green. Reedy way up the racetrack there. Brackett looking low. Reedy trying to block a big crash behind. Look at them wadding it up. Zach Wilson and so many more. Joseph Mahar in the heart of it. It's a parking lot, ladies and gents. Wow. What a way to come back. Let's go back and check this out. This is going to be... yes. The answer is yes. Let's check this out through turn one. Watch Zach Wilson, the black, white, and blue number 51 Toyota Camry on the outside. Gets turned, it looks like, by Kevin Hurley, who just came up the racetrack. Winners hit him. And look at this view, Zach. Off the restart, nowhere for any of them to go. Miranda was in that, I know that. Wow, what a crash. That's more than half the field. That's much more. That's about 25 cars, if I had to guess. Oh, Kip Easley almost got through. Garrett Brown, Brandon Banks, Charles Feltz mostly stops. Not quite yet. It shouldn't. Now here's the onboard with Warren Kyle Keith. Kevin Hurley was aggressive the entire time. This is too aggressive. Oh my goodness, the hit for Hurley. Watch this back. Kevin Hurley in the center of this all. He actually got passed up on the restart by Warren and sent it back in, did Kevin Hurley. A bit of desperation. What I don't like about this from Kevin is that he's not racing for a championship this season. He missed half the season to get started, and this takes out a lot of guys that really need the points. Wow, Garrett Brown. Mario gets in. There's Schoonover. Sean Kalis skidding to a stop. This is easily, I think, the biggest crash we've ever seen for the MPI Cup Series. Let's go on board with car 99. And let's slow this down as well, Zach. If you're Mario here, where are you going to go? If you go down to the bottom, there's a wall down there. Nope, let's erase that idea. You can't go there. There's cars here, there's cars here, there's cars up to your outside. There's nowhere for you to go. At this point, he starts to go down to the bottom side. You see that there's Hurley on the inside. He then stops. Now he sees maybe a hole. Let's try down to the bottom again. There's Hurley. There's just nowhere. Absolutely nowhere to go. This is the onboard with Ryan Kendall, a few positions ahead of Miranda. But similarly, where are you going to go in this case? Let's watch this from the onboard. It all checks up. There's maybe a hole there to the outside, but can you really get up there? Not really. There's cars wrecking now high. Do you try and go low? Well, guess what? They're going to come back down the racetrack with Swavely and more. Swavely, masterful job of getting by. And actually, Kendall gets hit from behind. That's why he gets crashed here. Did you see who did snake through, though? That was Daniel Michel. Let's watch it for him. On board with Michel out of California. Wow! Drive through it, Cole. I don't understand that. What in the world? One more time. This is Daniel Michel getting through this massive big one on the backstretch at a turn number 1. Watch the gray, black, and red, number 25. Up high, cuts down low. The C's part. Q, Casey Kerwin, Tom Cruise. Oh my goodness. Drive through it, Cole. Wow. Well, here we go. We'll have 3 laps to go for the restart. Chris Shoemaker on point. Lawson Peel with 4 wins to his name. He's second. Steven Stempion with 4 wins to his name. He's third. Austin Reedy with 2 wins to his name. He's fourth. Wyatt Brackett with a win. He's fifth. Joe Sanchez with 2. He's sixth. Of your top 8, only 3 cars are winless. Of your top 6, it's only 1, and it's the race leader It is Chris Shoemaker trying to get his first win of the season and get his way into the MPI Cup Series playoffs. Let's see what he can do in car number 4, headed down to the start-finish line for potentially the final time to take a green flag into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out at Pocono. Slow out of the corner. Here comes Peel. Nowhere to go, though. He's going to go to the inside. Reedy's going to go outside. 3 wide. Shoemaker's got to find a way to defend. He comes down. He gets into Peel. Another big crash. Up the racetrack. Oh, my. Sturgeon.
And it did not work out for him, as you see Kelly there with front end damage.
Big problems for car 4.
This is helpful for Peel. It puts him back into position, but not so much for Shoemaker.
Watch this.
Slow off the corner, and he just comes down.
Oh, man.
And Reedy.
Wow.
Oh,
Big
no.
hits for 3 of the best cars in this race, and one who was trying to make it into the playoffs, Mahar, Miranda. They barely get by. Sturgeon plows into the 55.
You want to talk about too close for comfort, too. Michel got on 2 wheels.
Let's watch it all again, and this will, of course, take us to MPI Cup Series overtime. This from high above.
They're shuffling
Chris
around
just
back
came
there
down.
already. And just, your heart just sinks. Reedy had such a strong run all day, and it's pretty much over for him now.
Holy smokes is right. We'll see how Steven Sempian gets by this. He will go second place now in the first car that's not involved in all of this. Peel gets through. He's going to keep the race lead, but Steven Sempian the first one to get through that isn't a part of it.
Sempian can see it. He watches it happen. He just goes straight to the middle, cuts back to the top. That is incredibly close.
Miranda and Mahar nearly were a big part of this. Let's see what happened from their point of view. Let's go on board with Mario Miranda here.
Fourth gear, rolling through turn 1. Mid-pack through it all.
You see Michel, you see Kalis, Wilson, Mock. Everybody scrambling all over the racetrack, and Miranda's to the top side. He's just trying to hold down, gets into the wall a little bit. And there's a parked car. Wow.
Talk about cutting close.
Austin Peel's the race leader. Everybody trying not to pit here. Austin Reedy, though, comes into the pit lane. Let's see if we can find Chris Shoemaker. One of the drivers for Prestige Worldwide. Really has been needing some big points. We can get Chris in here. Let's get car number 4. Chris Shoemaker going for a race win here against some of the best drivers in the series. We've been needing to talk to him for a couple of weeks now, and unfortunately, these are not quite the circumstances we wanted to bring Chris Shoemaker into. But Chris, what happened there? Chris Shoemaker, you got us?
Hey, I got you guys. What's going on?
Hey, Chris, we've been rooting for you to get some points, rooting for you to even get a win, and you almost had one in front of you there. What happened out of turn 1?
I was on a little bit older tires, obviously, and they got a run on me. I was in the middle. Should have probably tried to stay up by the wall, but I was trying to hold a steady wheel there, and felt like I got clipped in the left rear, but I haven't gone back and looked at it. But anyway, it is what it is. We took a stab at it there, and we needed to win, and just didn't work out for us.
You and Austin both have been certainly making inroads on your deficits, trying to get your way into the playoffs or hold yourselves in the playoffs. From here on out, looking at Indianapolis next week, then Michigan, so on and so forth, how do you put both cars 4 and 14 in the playoffs here for the MPI Cup Series?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be at the Brickyard next week, so this was my pretty much big stab at it. So Austin's usually pretty good at Indy, though. So looking forward to see how he does next week. But
And, you know, we always wondered the relation between you guys. Is it brothers, father, son? What's going on?
he's my son.
There you go. So Chris Shoemaker the dad, Austin Shoemaker the son. And,
That's right.
Well, hey, Austin's up there in the top 3. We'll see what he can do on this restart. Best of luck to you guys both.
I appreciate it.
Chris Shoemaker in car number 4. Pretty solid paint scheme on that number 4 car this evening as well, and we'll see what he can do as he gets ready to restart from deep in this field. 24th spot, Zach, when they come back to the green flag.
It's going to be one heck of a restart. You know, you've got Peel back in position. You've got Stempian up there pretty much doing Papa proud, avoiding these wrecks, staying in contention, and it's going to come down to the wire. We have drivers up front as well that were a little lacking on the other restarts. Wyatt Brackett, he's up in 4th. Dakota Curtis up in 6th position. It's definitely going to be one hectic restart, and we might have a little bit of overtime. Extended, of course. This is our first attempt. Or we could just see this run out these 2 laps to green. Green, white, checkered, as it was used to called.
Yeah, let's remind you guys of how overtime works, both in the NASCAR Cup Series and the MPI Cup Series. If they complete the first lap of restart, the green flag lap of green, white, checkered, the race goes complete. That is it. There will be no caution on the final lap. However, if there is a caution on this first lap of racing from the restart, we re-rack them, restack them, send them around one more time, and we will get a restart of some sort to finish this race. So these guys have got to make it back to the start-finish line clean and green if they want to finish this race on this restart. It's Lawson Peel, Steven Stempe in the front row, Lawson inside, Steven outside. Let's see what they can do. Green flag flies. Lap 82 underway from Pocono. Harlow moves down. He's to the inside of Shoemaker.
Stempian was a little slow on that restart, but he is reeling Peel back in. They are 3 wide for 3rd.
Peel moves
Shoemaker
the 14 up. The 10 as well of Brackett. Trying to hang on. 3 wide. Are we going to go 4 wide down the long pond straightaway? In the back they are.
We just might see a couple of more overtakes going into 2. Do we see 3 wide going into 2?
Brackett pops down in front of Harlow and Shoemaker. Curtis there as well. It's 2 4-time winners, though, leading the field. If we don't get a caution before the start-finish line, it will go to the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams for these 2 Chevrolets. Both from Drinkin' Bros Racing, Lawson Peel and Steven Stempe, and a couple of teammates out front, Wyatt Brackett behind. White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Simcams at Pocono.
All the way down to the bottom of the front
A
straight.
crash behind.
The white flag's out.
The restart will stay official.
Stempian going all the way down to the bottom, trying to get as much of a run as he can. Harlow working on Brackett, going through turn 1. They're going down Long Pond straightaway. Peel all the way down to the bottom, just trying to hold on to that spot, but Stempian is not going to let him get away.
We'll race this out. Back to the start-finish line. Can Steven Stempian find a way around Lawson Peel? Both are 4-time winners. Ascend there in 2, and I think that's done it. Steven Stempian's going to fall way back by turn 3, and sure enough, it's going to be the number 53 Chevrolet Camaro into the 3rd corner with a side-by-side battle behind them. Ross Harlow and Wyatt Brackett duking it out. Austin Shoemaker at top 5, but it's all Lawson Peel at Pocono. He wins his 5th race in the season.
We got a wreck across the start-finish line.
Wow.
And look at Joseph Mahar. He's got his right front off the car.
Chris Shoemaker as well.
My goodness.
What a finish.
What a race.
Lawson Peel, your race winner tonight at Pocono. 83 laps. 3 laps of extra overtime.
Let's not forget, Lawson Peel sweeping the stages as well. He is getting a maximum points day out of this. This is definitely going to help him moving forward in the playoffs.
He is now the top of this series, at least as far as the playoff seeding is concerned. Miranda might have more total points. Steven Stempian might as well. But Lawson Peel has the most wins in the MPI Cup Series as of tonight. This is huge for car 53. Really, really big. And he's going to burn it down. Why wouldn't you?
After such a dominating performance, I'd run the tires off those things.
He's going to do a burnout. You see all his partners there studded all across the car. A beautiful paint that he's run most of this season. A bit of a nose there to the wall. But Lawson Peel with a big win tonight at Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And he's going to park it right on the track logo. Let's dial up driver 53. We've already done so once this evening. But when you drive that good, you get to talk to us again. Lawson Peel, congratulations. You just won at Pocono.
Man, appreciated. That felt good. It was definitely nerve-wracking there at the end. Me and Steven had it. I mean, we were broke away there. If that second or third to last caution wouldn't have come out, I think we were going to have a great battle there. So I was definitely getting nervous. I didn't want to have to deal with those restarts. And yeah, Reedy got in position there on the, I guess that second to last one to probably get ahead of me. And I had a run on Chris coming through the turn one and was able to get to his left rear, and I knew Reedy was going high on him. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I really hated to see that, because it caused a big wreck. So it felt like he may have came down a little bit. I have to look at it, but yeah, it was. And then Reedy almost clipped me as he was spinning down, so I'd easily could have ended my day. So yeah, just happy to escape and get the win. I did a lot of officials this week, and it was great practice, so I knew I would have a good chance tonight. And yeah, I'm pumped to be the first one to 5.
Exactly, Lawson. You are technically the top of the MPI Cup Series right now. How does that feel? You got your first win battling with Mario Miranda way back at COTA, and sure, there was some contact, but you were the first one of the checkers, and that started this spree through the late spring and early summer, and now into midsummer. You are right now the top of the series. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. I just didn't have a very good start to the year at all. I got wrecked up a lot, but it's really improved. I mean, everybody has gotten used to this car, and these races have really gotten cleaner and better these past couple of months. And so I've been able to kind of showcase myself a little bit, and it's a string of good tracks for me too. I'm excited about Indianapolis coming up and Michigan as well. Really glad we're running the oval at Indy and not the road course. So shout out to Dakota and the admins for that. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be another flat track just like this. Last time I raced there, it was before the update, and it was pretty loose. But I'm thinking it's going to be another tight setup like we had here at Pocono. So it'll be similar driving, and so maybe that'll work out for me too. But I'm looking forward to that. Indy's real special to me. So.
And when you take tracks that usually string the field out, like Pocono, like Indianapolis, like even Michigan sometimes, and you bring this new Gen 7 to town, it tends to pack things up a little bit more. You guys are racing in a line for most of the evening. How do you try and maintain tires, trying to push, use the draft and everything else? How do you maintain tires? How do you keep on top of fuel strategy and everything else to win these races?
That's such a great question, because you could not break away really from the top 10 those first two stages, because they were just quick 20-lap stages. Steven and I managed to kind of get out there a little bit in stage 3, and I think we were gone. But the cooler track kind of played a factor into that a little bit. I think if the track would have been hotter, people back in the pack would have been dropping off faster, just because of the effect that the aero has. So the fact that the track was cool definitely kept everybody packed up a little better tonight. But it is tough, because that's the first thing I said when that caution came out was we're gonna have to just win the restart battle here, which anything can happen. I mean, you saw today anything can happen in the cup race, and it's typically just those typically don't go well for me. That's kind of normally when I get the bad end of the stick. So I'm happy it all worked out. Again, I hate that wreck happened. I wish we could have finished without that. But yeah, it's tough. You gotta save the tires, keep air on your nose, and work the traffic, work the draft, and it's tough. Especially on green white checkers like that.
Well, Austin, it's a big win for you this evening. Win number 5, as we talked about. Congratulations. Live this one up. Party this one up, as well the team name suggests. We'll see you next week at Indy.
Appreciate it, guys.
Lawson Peel, a big one this evening, Zach, and powers car 53 to victory lane. Let's take a look at our unofficial race results after this one. You can see Lawson Peel narrowly over Steven Stempien. Wyatt Brackett, the top 3, then Ross Harlow and Austin Shoemaker. Such needed points, and finally Warren Kyle Keith hangs on to a good finish today. That is huge. Dakota Curtis 7th, Justin Erb 8th, then Ryan Kendall and Richard Swavely make up the top 10. A lot of feel-good finishes inside those top 10, Zach.
Absolutely, rolling on down through the field. Kip Easley, he was up there in the top 10 for just a little bit. He was trying to make that car work, and unfortunately it just ended a little bit badly for him, coming outside the top 10. Mario Miranda, also a fast car, ending up P12. Charles Feltz, Casey Knighton, Travis Stevens, Daniel Mitchell, another fast car who just had a bit of stroke of bad luck. Sean Callis, Judd Danielson, James Crundle, and Chris Shoemaker, who also another car who was trying to throw a bit of a haymaker, if you will, to get one of these wins. And again, it just didn't end well for some of these guys.
Finishing 21st, it's Joseph Mahar in the Dollar General Toyota Camry. Zach Wilson in the Battle Beaver number 51 goes 22nd. Isaac Mock there with Burnt Rubber Media goes 23rd. Then Curtis Kelly, Brad Fulham, your top 25. Both of those guys 1 lap down. Finishing 26th, it's Dustin Reeves, 3 laps down. Then Austin Reedy, 4 laps down in 27th. Logan Sturgeon, 28th. Bill Schoonover, 29th. And Joe Sanchez rounding out your top 30. Heartbreak for a lot of these guys, especially Joe.
Absolutely. Kevin Hurley, another fast car, ending up 31st. Garrett Brown, Justin Winters, Parker Bland, one driver who really needed these points as he was on the cut line, ending up 34th tonight. Brandon Banks, Justin Hendry, Chris Progar, Jesse Whittington, Daniel Holdcroft, and Ray Rogers ending up 40th. And then to round out your full field of 41, I believe, will be Alex Muscarella.
I want to bring this result screen back up, actually, and talk about a few very important drivers on this screen. First off, you're going to want to turn your attention, of course, Lawson Peel. Well, he's a gimme, given his win this evening. But I also feel like we have to talk about Ross Harlow in the 4th spot. We can circle him here, or at least try to circle him, oval him, something. Well, anyways, we'll circle 4th. There we go. I think that's a little easier. Ross Harlow, big 4th place finish for him. That's going to be a lot of points. Finishing 5th, again, Austin Shoemaker, a lot of points. Warren Kyle Keith, a return back to the top 10 for him. Dakota Curtis needed those points. Justin Erb needed those points. Do you see a theme here? Ryan Kendall needed the points. Richard Swavely needed the points. Those guys all really needed their finishes. Really important finishes this evening inside the top 10. And after our quick commercial break, we'll be talking to Steven Stempien, Warren Kyle Keith, and Richard Swavely. 3 guys who really needed these finishes. Well, Steven, not so much, I guess. He won last week at New Hampshire. But we will be right back in just a few moments. For the love of all that is holy, don't go anywhere. A whole lot of drivers to talk to in just a few moments. We'll be right back on PitStop TV.
Hi everyone, I'm Max Papis, founder of MPI. Let me introduce you to a line that we developed in MPI that is really dear to me. The MPI SimMax. Obviously, SimMax, the guy here. The reason of birth of SimMax is the fact that nowadays I believe that sim racing and virtual racing is exactly the platform to start. I consider sim racing and virtual racing very similar to the experience I had in go-kart when I started in my racing. And let me introduce you to our line of authentic steering wheel created specifically for the sim community.
Welcome back to the virtual Pocono Raceway in the virtual Long Pond, Pennsylvania, on, of course, the iRacing.com simulator. Thanks so much for joining us here at PitStop TV. We truly do appreciate it. If you can, go ahead and hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button wherever you're watching. Even a like, that would be appreciated. Let's go ahead and get back into the sim, and let's quickly talk about our partners here at the MPI Cup Series. Of course, MPI, Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, and KListSynthetics.com. All doing so much for the series. Max Pappas Innovations takes every aspect of construction and safety to heart in the most accurate and dedicated ways possible. Max Pappas' goal has always been to apply his experience and knowledge to produce a state-of-the-art product for the racing community, and that is shown in each of his steering wheels and accessories that fly out of the shop. Auto Tempest saves you time, effort, and guesswork when buying a car by gathering results from all top used car websites, eBay Motors, Cars.com, TrueCar, Carvana, you name it. Nowhere else will you find more listings in one place, and Auto Tempest makes it easy so you can spend less time looking for your ideal car and more time driving it. KListSynthetics.com is an independent dealer of Amsoil lubricants serving the USA and Canada, providing custom engine lubrication solutions to all types of customers. From residential lawn care crews to race teams to hauling fleets, they have the products and expertise to help you save time and money. Go to KListSynthetics.com or call 785-813-1882. Again, that is 785-813-1882 to order. Zach, we've got 3 drivers to talk to. We're going to lead things off with Steven Stempien, who goes second place this evening, and he won last week in New Hampshire. He's used to finishing up here. Steven, congratulations on another top 3 run this time. Well, second place. What was it like in Car 81?
I was pretty good. Shout out to my teammate Lawson Peel. He was definitely the class of the field tonight. I'm glad he ended up getting the win there. But it was a fun track. You know, Pocono is always fun. It's nice and tight. Couldn't really break away from people, but I'm just glad I finished second because that last caution I thought I was done for. I don't know how I avoided it. I was playing dodge the cars there for a little bit.
Yeah, there were multiple crashes that a lot of drivers barely made it through. You were lucky enough to miss a couple of them and, well, miss all of them and bring that car home in one piece. How important is it for you guys to capitalize on these stage points? You guys were all racing tooth and nail, and it seemed like you all really wanted them.
Yeah, you know, a couple of guys in the first stage, they pitted, 10 laps before the stage or whatever it was, before the stage finished, and, got some points out of that. And restarted, I think, like 17th, 18th, and that was a struggle getting back up there for the second stage, but I think I got all the way back up to 4th, so navigating through the field was fun during that second stage. Glad I got some points, got a good points day today, so I'll take it. I think Mario finished 12th, so gained some ground on him, try to get that regular season championship. But obviously it doesn't mean anything, you got still playoffs to run for, so, but it was fun. Racing Lawson in that, last lap, I kind of overdrove the tunnel turn. I thought I was going to be able to make it stick better. I think if I didn't, overdrive that turn, me and him probably would have been neck and neck coming to the line, but, I'm glad he won. Good teammate. All the guys at Drinking Bros are, so proud of him, and guess we go into Indy next week. Looking forward to that. Oval in Michigan. So,
well, Steven, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on a second place finish. We'll talk to you hopefully next week at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I hope so. Keep these top fives up, man. Always enjoy coming up here talking to you guys. Thanks for putting out the broadcast. Thanks to all the admins. They don't get enough credit in this league for all the work they do, and then. Shout out to my pops out there and my beautiful fiance watching out there. She texted me. She's like, I don't know how you avoided that wreck. So that was awesome. Love you, babe. And then all my guys over at Cat 5 Esports. You guys have a great week. Talk to you later.
We'll see. And that's Steven Stempien finishing second this evening. No laps led, but that doesn't speak volumes as exactly how competitive he was, Zach. Always in the mix was Car 81 as per usual. Next up, Zach, we have somebody else who was rather competitive this evening, although it seemed like he was a little bit off. It's Car 22. It's Warren Kyle Keith.
Warren, Kyle, Keith, you started on pole tonight. You fell pretty deep into the pack. You were as low as 30th at one point, but you worked your way back up. You got to where you need to be. Just kind of walk us through how that all went for you, starting on pole, falling back so much. We've been talking about it throughout the broadcast. We didn't know if it was race pace, if it was just having trouble in the traffic. Just kind of tell us what exactly was going through your mind trying to make this car work tonight.
Yeah, it surely wasn't race pace. That's for certain. We had a really fast discount tire forward. No, we fell back because of pit strategy. We didn't take tires at all in the first 2 stages until the end of stage 2. So we took fuel early and then just rode back there with safe tires and then tried to hold ground as best we could until the end of stage 2. But we had great speed. The SKM boys did a good job tonight. Helped coach them through that. But there wasn't a lack of pace. Me and Ross both came from I don't know, about 28th all the way up to about 8th before that last caution that set up all those green white checkers and stuff. So we had the pace and the speed, just not enough time to do it.
Absolutely. Speaking of all the cautions, there was absolutely quite the the kerfuffle, we'll say, of incidents towards the end of the race. How exactly did this help benefit your strategy in terms of you were in the back for the most part, and then you were able to get back up to the front and just actually benefit off of gaining position from these cautions?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a heck of a track blocker in the mirror coming out of 1, but that was weird. We had a great race from everybody until that point. I just think get a caution within 6 to go. Just how competitive this series is, that you're gonna get guys that are just gonna be like, hey, it's time to go. And unfortunately, that time to go caused the first track blocker of the season for us.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us in the booth, and congratulations on such a great performance. We know it's not, taking the win after sitting on the pole, but you still managed to wrap up a great race. Absolutely great job tonight, Keith.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we had a great brake package and looking to carry it on over to Indianapolis next week.
There you go. Warren Kyle Keith takes nearly a top 5 this evening, position 6. Nothing to scoff at for the number 22 Ford Mustang. Let's move on down the line to somebody who really needed these points tonight and had an interesting way of getting here. Richard, you were good early in the night. You actually showed your head in the top 10 early on in stage 1 after starting 4th, but you fell back and barely got back up there. What happened for you?
I just kept falling for the sucker hole, kept getting good runs off the corner and tried to go on the inside and get to the next corner, and 3 or 4 cars go by me on the outside, so I kind of fell back for a bit, and then just slicing and dicing at the end, dodging some of those wrecks to get up to the top 10.
Now, on these speedways like Pocono and, the next 2 weeks, Indianapolis and Michigan, how important is it to, manage your expectations early, knowing you're going to have guys that want to fly to the front, but it seemed like you wanted to just keep your cars safe. You need to get these points at the end of the day, just as importantly as you do in the beginning. So how important is it to just play self-preservation in that kind of, part of the race?
As rough as my season's been, the goal lately has just been getting to the end of the races, because I've had a really rough season so far, and I know Pocono is one of my better tracks, and I came out of here at the top 10. Should have been a little bit better, but I do have a win a couple seasons ago at Indy, so I'm very, very excited for Indy. This little section of tracks is it's not just full hammer down. You have to actually ease into the throttle, and you have to kind of baby the car through the corners and everything, and it's kind of the stuff I do pretty good at, so I'm looking forward to the next few weeks.
And how about those wrecks there at the end? It seems like you snaked through a couple of them. You kept your car mostly in one piece, if not entirely in one piece. That was pretty hair-raising stuff.
Oh man, there's that one track blocker coming off of turn 1. I went high because I've seen some guys going high, and then something happened. They all started coming back up the track, so I had to go coast to coast and get out of it, and then enjoyed those Baja jumps off the below the apron down the Long Pond Straight. So yeah, it was an adventure the last 20 laps or so.
There you go. Richard Swavely goes 10th place tonight. Top 10 is always a pretty good way to end the evening, Richard. So congratulations on the top 10. And hopefully we'll talk more about you in this playoff race here in weeks to come.
Yep, I think I'm at the point of needing to win to get in, but like I said, I've had Indy circled for quite a while, so looking forward to it.
Well, best of luck to you, buddy. Good to talk to you as always. And that is Richard Swavely finishing in the 10th position this evening. And it really is good to talk to a lot of these guys that we don't usually talk to in events like this. Let's go ahead and go back, though, and check out what happened on this last restart, Zach. There was a lot. And in fact, coming back around to the start-finish line, we actually had a flip that we hadn't caught before. Let's watch this through and kind of pick out where we have to go and see what happened.
Yeah, I noticed they were wrecking, and there really wasn't much to see. We were focusing on the leader, but there was a lot of big wrecks going on in the background, and all in all, it was just a crazy finish.
This was 3 wide into turn number 2, right off of the restart. Shoemaker in the middle, Curtis up high. Harlow gets clear of them all. Really solid finish for Ross. Glad he was able to put the number 5 in the top 5 tonight. In fact, 4th place. Something happens, though, here out of turn number 3. And it is involving, I do believe, car 45 of Brad Fulham. Maybe not started there, but Shoemaker gets the wall. Oh, and Kelly comes up, and my goodness.
My goodness.
It's a bit of a track glitch there with the outside wall, but Brad Fulham, wow.
Talk about actual Jeff Burton and riding on your side past the start-finish line. My goodness.
So that's what we saw happening behind the leaders as they took the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. Let's go back one more time here. And, this is already happening. So we have to go a little further back and see what happened here to car 45. Brad Fulham. There he is. Watch this out of turn 3. Gets loose, comes down, and Kelly comes up the racetrack, and he gets... Wow. He gets stuck in the wall there for a moment, then slides across the start-finish line to at least start the white flag on his side. Brad finishes, though, 24th. The first car 1 lap down. He's actually unable to properly finish the race.
It ripped the whole front end off his car, and it knocked off the right front, too.
You don't see crashes like that very often on iRacing, but when you do, they are large. Let's see how this worked out, I guess, for car 29. Curtis Kelly there in the middle of all of this. A slightly better perspective, I think, of kind of everything else that went on out of turn 3 coming to the white flag, and then there was more crashing afterwards. I saw Chris Shoemaker was a big part of it. There's Kelly spinning across the start-finish line after the crash. And suddenly here comes the literally sideways 45.
He tried to move. You got to give him credit. He did try to move. I think the whole thing just started. He had a run. He was trying to go around, and I guess he didn't expect someone to be on his outside.
I'm glad we finally got to talk to Chris Shoemaker, but not so glad that his night went the way it did. This is the view for him. As this was the final lap here at Pocono, lap 83 of a scheduled 80. Oh, and Isaac Mock just drove the 19 up the racetrack. And Joseph Mahar comes down the track. Oh, Zach Wilson there brings the 4, and they all crash. Wow.
Just a heavy incident right there. They were 3 wide coming off the corner.
And this is why the 4 car was so damaged coming to the line as well as the 19.
Well, at least he was a bit of the benefactor, really, when he was able to get past them. Gained, 4 spots, maybe?
Yeah, he kept going for the most part, so that's always a good thing, I suppose. But given all of this, oh my gosh, they were making contact even into turn 2. Watching the 7, he just drives the 19 up the racetrack, and then something happens here after. Wilson goes down, comes back up across the nose of the 4, and there goes Isaac Mock into all of this with the Mock Media number 7. And,
I think,
that was it.
Don't quote me on it, I think Wilson just tried to throw a bit of a block, and he didn't anticipate Shoemaker being so close to his bumper.
That sounds about right. This is going to be a little further back. We can really see this all develop properly for car 7 and everybody else here. There's the crash with Fulham behind. Here's Mog with a big run to the outside of 51, the inside of the 19. You can see Travis Stevens still up here. Travis Stevens, by the way, finished 15th after everything tonight. That's, I think, a win in his book, and going to be points that he needs. Michel as well to come through and finish 16th is pretty solid for car 25. Casey Knighton with a surprise 14th place finish. Mario Miranda stayed in the top 12, finished 12th tonight. some really good comeback I guess not so much victories tonight. And there's that contact I was talking about with the 25-7 into the corner. And then Isaac just straight lines turn 2. There were 4 wide briefly, if you want to count it that way. And there's the contact.
Well, Wilson wasn't necessarily coming down for a block. He was just coming down to keep the spot covered off and not stay on top of the 7. And, well, Shoemaker was there. And it didn't seem like Isaac Mock really drove through the corner to just drive through Joseph Mahar. It looks like the car was just upset after making contact with 25 and Michel.
And after the checkers, there was even something, Zach, involving Warren Kyle Keith. Let's go back and check this out. Warren Kyle and Dakota Curtis crash after the line. And this is more than likely guys just having fun after the checkers, but let's check it out regardless and see exactly how these guys crash. Coming to and across the checkers. This is racing for the 6th position and into the corner. Into turn 3, it's Dakota in 6th, Warren in 7th, but out of the corner, they change spots. Warren takes that spot, and here's the contact across the line. Dakota there gets into him, and that's them just racing and having a bit of fun after the start-finish.
Just going for the same piece of real estate, and Dakota might have just thought, maybe I can try to get him at the line, maybe, just maybe, and then just a little too much contact. And, well, it seems like they collected a few more cars than just Dakota Curtis and Warren Kyle Keith.
Yeah, that's part of it sometimes. These guys just having fun to the checkers and knowing that it's just going to be a bit of a crapshoot at the start-finish line. Let's go back, though, and just, I guess, reflect on this one, Zach. Final thoughts here from Pocono.
Wild. Absolutely wild. And if Pocono produces anything that we could see at Indianapolis next week, it just blew my mind away in reality.
Yeah, wild stuff here this evening. Really glad to be a part of it, as always, with the MPI Cup Series. And really a pleasure to be here this evening. Let's check out upcoming broadcasts here on PitStop TV, beginning with more Pocono Raceway for the Outlaws Sim Series on Wednesday evening at 7:30 Eastern. Then carrying on to 2 broadcasts to Indianapolis. So 2 broadcasts from Pocono, then 2 broadcasts from Indy. We're keeping things in the same places here coming up, but the difference between Thursday and Sunday with the North American Racing League at Indianapolis and the MPI Cup Series Indianapolis is the course they're racing on. Tomorrow, July 25th, I guess it is, Monday, there is a brand new iRacing scan of the Indianapolis road course hitting iRacing that the Porsche Cup cars from the North American Racing League will be racing on. That is Thursday at 8:30 Eastern. Make sure to follow along here on PitStop TV to catch this event. This is going to be a lot of fun for us, showing off this brand new course for Indianapolis. And then Sunday, it's back to the oval. So the rectangle, if you will, at the Brickyard. Going to be a lot of fun for the MPI Cup Series at 9 p.m. Eastern. But a lot going on the channel coming up this week, Zach, and plenty of places on the bottom there to follow along.
Absolutely. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just make sure you go on any one of those social media platforms. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you're going on there. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And if you're subscribing to us on YouTube, don't be afraid to hit that notification bell so you hear everything going on here at PitStop TV.
There is definitely a lot going on each and every week on PitStop TV, especially with these 3 series, the Outlaws Sim Series that I was lucky enough to take part in this past Wednesday at Laguna Seca. Then, of course, the North American Racing League with Tony Kanaan and so many other big-time iRacing drivers that were even in the top split at Spa this past weekend. And, of course, the MPI Cup Series with everybody you just saw this evening, one of the best series properly on iRacing. We're so lucky to cover each of these series. So lucky to be able to broadcast these events for you guys on the internet. It's a lot of fun, Zach. It's been a lot of fun this evening. How do you wrap this one up? You haven't been on with us to cover much oval racing. I know we've already kind of done final thoughts from Pocono, but how about final thoughts for this broadcast as a whole?
Well, if anybody's ever seen me do any of the North American Racing League broadcasts with me being in the booth, I think this is a lot more my forte than GT3 cars, especially since I'm naturally an asphalt oval racer in the Legend Cars division. So this makes more sense to me. You can plug your social media. You can always find me on Zachary Murdis Racing on Instagram, Murdis Racing on Twitter and Facebook. Don't be afraid to shoot me a message. We're always looking for partners and sponsorship, especially with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow on Flow Racing. But yeah, just I love oval racing. I love NASCAR. I love everything like this in general. So I feel like MPI being in the booth for them was a lot easier to cover than something like the North American Racing League. Make sure that if you ever tune in on PitStop TV to the North American Racing League, you'll be able to catch me, maybe Emerson on socials. I prefer being on socials a lot more when it comes to North American Racing League than being in the booth, but absolutely being in the booth for MPI Cup Series. It's just an amazing thing to be a part of, especially with PitStop TV and such a great broadcasting group like you, Emerson, JP, just amazing. I love doing it.
It was definitely a lot of fun this evening. Thanks for being here, Zach, and thanks from PitStop TV for everybody else behind the scenes, Emerson Arden, JP Costa, Denver Kent Zimmerman, Ed Schur, so many more doing things here with us on PitStop TV. If you want to join the crew, email me directly at andrew@pitstoptv.com. We will get you signed up and part of the crew today. But thanks so much for watching along this evening. It properly has been a lot of fun for all of our partners here with the MPI Cup Series. Of course, Max Campus Innovations, Auto Tempest, KaylaSynthetics.com, and SimMax, and our partners here at PitStop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCams, SimWrapMarket.com, and Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine. If you want the cameras you saw on the broadcast this evening, or even the B-roll heading to your screen now, contact Whiplash Media on social media today, and we can hook that up for you. It's been a lot of fun here from the virtual Pocono Raceway in the virtual Long Pond, Pennsylvania, but that is going to do it. It wasn't quite as sunny as it is in the B-roll, but it was an electric day, we'll say, as I guess lightning bared down on the track after the real race today. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully the top two aren't DQ'd, but I'm sure Wyatt Brackett would be happy. That'll do it for us from Pocono. We'll see you next time from Indianapolis, or hopefully even Wednesday, right back here at Pocono for the Outlaws Sim Series. We'll catch you then.
Is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours?
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, he's like lifting, he's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more. In the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
Polar,
Yeah,
needed F-150 for Smith build.
got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Fuller,
Yeah,
needed F-150 for Smith build.
got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.